Well, good evening if anybody's listening, and if not, it doesn't matter because I am just going to fill my vape up while I wait to see if anyone's coming in, because I didn't actually plan on going live tonight, but I'm bored. So I'll just fill my vape up while I'm waiting to see if anybody pops in. And I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. I am going to talk about something slightly off my usual topic, which hopefully the title will give you a clue about. But I shall wait till people pop in, and then I'll tell you what we're going to be chatting about. Right, that's my vape filled up. Because I did not intend, as I just said, I wasn't going to come live tonight, but note on the telly, and I was watching something on YouTube about this topic, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to come live. And we can have a little natter about it if anybody comes in. And what I want to talk about tonight are giants. Giants all around the world. So it's a little bit away from the usual historical line of live. However, there is a little bit of history in here. So yeah, I shall just hang around for 5 minutes. Oh, hi, Meadow. Hello, lovely. How are you? Great to see you. I'm doing I wasn't going to come live tonight, love, but I thought, well, I was bored, nothing on the telly. It's not my usual type of live stream, but I know a couple of occasions over the past month, this topic has kind of been mentioned by a couple of members of chat. So as there was nothing on the telly, I was really bored. I started skimming through Tinternet, and yeah, I found some stuff on this topic. Yeah, you're first in the chat, honey. I think there are 4 watching, but I don't know who they are. I mean, sometimes like Bedtime Clown, if he's working, or Voodoo Queen, if she's working, they'll kind of open their live up and they'll just listen, but they're doing other things. And we have got some members who just listening, like Marie Cullen last night, who popped in to say goodnight, but she'd obviously been listening to the whole thing, which is fine. I don't mind. You know, like you yourself know, you know, not everybody initially wants to join in the chat. They'd rather just listen, and that is fine. So I've been doing a little bit of research on your neck of the woods. So for you, for Barbara Connerty, and for Simples, and Sheila a bit as well. So those people over in your neck of the woods on the Vikings, I'm going to combine that with the opposite coast. So kind of the Cumbria area. So I did a little bit of that research today. I'll do a little bit more tomorrow. And yeah, I was going to have a nice early night, but I don't think I'll sleep. So for people who are watching, or rather listening rather than joining in the chat, and it's absolutely fine, you don't need to. But tonight, as my title says, Here There Be Giants. And the subject of giants, hotly debated, You know, as in, did they exist? Are they just something out of myths and legends? You know, is there any truth in these myths and legends? So I thought I would have a little bit of a discussion over this tonight. Um, I think it's Sharon who likes talking about giants. Can't remember. However, I shall crack on. And obviously, if people come in the chat and want me to stop and go back over anything, feel free. But I'm just going to waffle on and we'll see where we get up to. So if anybody... oh, hi, Simples. Elo. There's you and Meadow in the chat at the moment. There's other people watching, but there's only you two in the chat. It's my fault. I wasn't intending to come live, but I was really bored. So I'm talking tonight about giants. But I can't remember who it was who likes talking about them, like the Anunnaki and fallen angels and things like that. So I veered off on a bit of a tangent away from history, or the history that we normally talk about. And I'm dragging away like Billy Buggeration on my vape, so I do apologise if it's making quite a bit of noise. I've not learnt to suck quietly, said the actress to the bishop. Have you had a good day today, Simples? I can't remember. Were you two guys in right up to the end last night? Cooper, come here. Cooper, come here. Because I kind of lost track of who was in and who was out. Right. Anyway, I shall watch the chat and I will just start. So one of the mentions that I found when I started looking into this early this evening, apart from Chaz getting COVID. Oh no, all stopped until Tuesday. Oh, do you know, people are dropping with it like flies. Well, not literally, just coming down with it. And luckily, most of the people I'm hearing of who've caught this new variant haven't been too poorly. So yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Oh, I thought you meant it was a relative. Oh, that Chandler fella that you were talking about with Bedtime Clown. Sorry, I'm so dumb. I was thinking it was, I think it was a relative. I was going to say, bloody hell, you've had no luck after Christmas getting cancelled because of COVID. Bloody hell. I've still not really gone and, I've not made the time. I was going to say I haven't had time. I have. I just didn't make the time. Hi, Sharon. Hiya, lovely. Yeah, I'm sorry about this. It was really last minute. There's only like half an hour's notice, but I was bored. So I'm going to talk about giants tonight, Sharon. We'll leave the Vikings for a couple of days and I'm going to talk about giants because I started watching things earlier and it's piqued my interest a little bit. And I know that someone in chat has kept mentioning giants and Anunnaki and fallen angels. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Only I don't know a great deal about it, so I'm hoping there'll be some input from the chat, depending who's in. Oh, what was it you, Sharon? I said I thought it might be you or Sheila. I just wasn't sure who'd brought it up before. So if it is you, you can correct me on stuff because this has been really quick. Chucking some stuff together and seeing what I could find out just as a conversation starter. because famous last words. I'm only planning on doing a couple of hours, but I am going to try to do it. So I thought it's not going to drag on. Probably both of us. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. So I'm just going to crack on with it. So what I found was that anybody who is religious in any way, shape or form will probably know this. I didn't. That in Genesis 6:4, there's reference made to giants on earth. And to wrap it up really quickly, it was that the sons of God, so the fallen angels, came up. Well, I'll not use their wording, but basically the fallen angels had a bit of Algy Father with the daughters of men, and those unions are what produced a race of giants. So I was like, oh, shitbags. I might have to have a read of these mentions in Genesis. And I haven't had time tonight. It was literally all last minute. I was bored. I've had a couple of hours to look through a few things, and I've cobbled it together. So I do apologise for the rather hasty delivery. And then I found that there was some information on a place in Illinois in America called Collinsville. And in the late summer of 1908, now I've got to see if I can pronounce this right because I've just written some names down. Hi, Frida. Hello, lovely. Good to see you. I'm sorry I've dropped this all on you after me saying I wasn't coming live, but we're talking about giants. So it looks like this place, this Collinsville in Illinois, near the Cahokia Mounds. There was some construction workers, and they accidentally unearthed a stone tomb. So as I said, this was in the late summer of 1908. So they accidentally unearthed a stone tomb, and oh, thank you, Fried. That's really kind of you, love. Thank you. Inside this stone tomb, there were several giant bodies, and each one of these bodies was over 7 foot tall. However, following their discovery, the bodies mysteriously disappeared. And the disappearance, because obviously people talk, don't they? The disappearance of them just fueled already the speculation that was already there that a large species of humans once inhabited the Americas. And what's left of the mysterious mound, this oh God, I can't say it, Cahokia Mound, and the burial complex that's there, it still baffles archaeologists to this day. And on the back of that, I then found a quote by Abraham Lincoln. And obviously we all know who he is. And this is actually what he said. The eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mounds of America have gazed on Niagara as ours do now. So he obviously knew something, and this is prior to the discovery of these several giant skeletons of over 7 foot tall in 1908, because obviously Lincoln, he was living during the 1800s. So I found that quite interesting. And then following on from that, sorry about, oh, Cooper, please don't. And the dog is up again. Stop. Wouldn't be alive without Cooper opening his trap, would it? Cooper, stop. So then, round about the time of Lincoln, or just after the time of Lincoln, the New York Times in 1892 printed a story. I've not been able to find the full story, just the headline, but they printed a story about skeletons of giant warriors that were unearthed in France. And these were dated, at the time, these were being dated to be approximately 25,000 years old. And they reckon that they were warriors who had died fighting. And one of these giant skeletons or bodies was found with an arrow stuck in its skull. So that's that. We've then got, there've been some giant footprints found in either in rock faces. Oh gosh, sorry about this. Forgot to mute my phone once again. We need clowning on this, but he's probably working. But yeah, I should do clown if you're around. Clown, clown. We're talking about giants. If you want to come in and you've got time, give us a shout. How's that one? Actually, what I'll do, just in case anybody wants to chat about it, I will drop the link, because this has just fascinated me, this has. I'll drop the link in there. I know. Do you know what? I do it every time, Frida. I thought I'd muted it and I hadn't, so you'll end up getting a nice wake-up ping. It is now muted, though, because I wasn't expecting anybody to contact me, and it's my neighbours who got married today. That was just a text message thanking them for the video that some of you will have seen. So yeah, so I've then found these references that have been made to giant footprints, and they're not, you know, you can see that they've not been carved out. These are like giant impressions. Oh, did you send? I know, bless the pair of them. Love, luck and health to them both. The great neighbours. Really funny. Did you hear the bit when Cammy had got a frock stuck in the door of the car? And she said, "This is what happens when you dress like Gandalf." She's amazing. She's originally from New York, but then moved to Vermont, and obviously she's now moved over here. I think that their eventual plan will be to both go out to America, you know, because Cammy's got family out there, and Jo is just like, you know, she'll go where Cammy goes. So she loves it in Vermont, and has been on several occasions. So I think that'll be their end goal. So yeah, so back to these footprints. So there are, and forgive me for my pronunciation of these places. So there's a place called, it looks like it's Pingyao or Pinyao in China, and there is a footprint in the stone there which has been measured as 20 inches long, 8 inches wide, and 1 inch deep. There is, and this is obviously on the ground. Now, on the South African and Swaziland border, there has been a giant footprint, and it's in a rock face. Now, you might wonder, you know, what's it doing there, because it's kind of vertical going up. However, if you think about how over millennia, you know, with the plate shifting, glaciers, earthquakes, so on and so forth, rocks that were horizontal can at some point end up vertical. And they're thinking that this possibly is what's happened with this rock. Originally, it would have been horizontal, it would have been flat on the ground, and over time, with the rock shifting, it's kind of shot upwards. Oh, Kai Bailey, hello, my darling. Hi, kiss me outs in chat. I can't chat at the moment as I'm going up to the shops, but wanted to say hi. Well, it's lovely to see you in here, love. It really is, and welcome. We're not talking my usual stuff at the moment. I'm normally on to history, but for a change, I'm going to talk about giants. So, but yeah, it's really nice to see you. Thank you for coming in, and you're welcome anytime. Got quite a lot of people, well, quite a lot for me. There's about 11 people watching. There's a few in chat, but everybody's welcome. Oh, hi, Sam. Hello, darling. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Um, I'm usually doing the Vikings. I did Vikings last night in Northwest England. I'm going to be doing Vikings on my next live, but this was just a I'm bored and I'm going to chat to myself if nobody appears, but I want to talk about giants. So, yeah, so great to see you. I really appreciate you being here. Oh, Frida's saying hello to you both. Kai Beale. Is it Kai Beale or Kai Bealey? I'm never sure. I'll say Kai Bealey because that sounds nice. And Sam. Frida's saying hi to you both. Um, so yeah, so this footprint that's in the vertical wall on the South African Swaziland border it's 4 foot high. And there's a photograph that I found online of the guy who discovered it, I'm presuming, standing next to it. There's also another one that is in Bangalore in India. And again, that's horizontal on the ground. It's another gigantic footprint. Now, these are all on different continents. And the way they've been dated, you know, a lot of this time that there wasn't any contact between these different, you know, between Africa and China and India. Well, maybe China and India, they're slightly closer, but there wouldn't have been these discussions and swapping of legends way back when. These footprints would have appeared in the stone or been made in the stone. So there's then also, so I started trying to like do quick searches on where of giants. We've got legends of giants in the UK. There was apparently a battle with an old, I think he was a Welsh king, and a giant who had been captured. And this king decided to fight a battle. I think it was a bit of a testosterone rush, and the giant ended up being basically pushed off the cliff during this battle. You've got the legend of David and Goliath. That's another, well, legend or Bible story of David and Goliath, another giant. There's then a very ancient city in Baalbek in the Lebanon, or it's the ancient city of Baalbek in the Lebanon. And they reckon that this ancient city had been built by some past unknown super civilization. And there were always stories around the Middle East that races of giants, you know, lived in that area throughout the Middle East. And there's a story where Baalbek is named after this. I don't know whether he's a demigod or, you know, some mythical being, but the name of Baal. And apparently, the legends say, he built this city of Baalbek when he first arrived on Earth. So, you know, go figure, was he a fallen angel? Oh, bloody porn links, sod off. Did I get him or did so? Oh, somebody beat me to it. Well done, whoever got that one and swatted him. And then this guy that I was watching, he was talking about Baalbek and the Lebanon. He said that the stories go, some people thought that this city was created by a race of giants. And he's discovered some information that says it wasn't built by giants, it was built to keep the giants out. And in that area, there was something to be feared, which then takes me nicely into a story that I know we touched on last week or the week before, which was the Kandahar giant. Sharon, giants are portrayed all over the world. It's fascinating. It is, Sharon. It's you've got the giants, and then also look at old, you know, cave drawings and paintings and engravings. Not only are giants portrayed, but also there are a lot of these ancient paintings or cave drawings that depict people looking remarkably like spacemen in spacesuits. So, and these are thousands upon thousands of years old. And that kind of fits in as well with what Bam mentioned the other night, you know, about that spaceship that looks like it's appearing out of the ice up in Antarctica or the Arctic, wherever it was. Yeah, they do, and it's really weird, isn't it, Sharon? Yeah, yes, simples, and it's again, these are civilizations that had no contact with each other at that time. So there are virtually every single race has got stories about gods coming down from heaven, or the heavens, shall I say. They've got stories of giants. Even I'll get the Vikings in somehow. Even go over to Norway, Sweden. They've got the stories of the trolls, you know, and some of the gods, like Agrabah was a giantess. Loki was you know, he was the father of giants. Every single either modern religion, pagan religion, belief system, even if you're not going through towards, yeah, trolls. I believe in trolls. Um, even we could go one step further and say, could this be linked to subspecies such as the Yeti, abominable snowman, Bigfoot? You know, are these a race of not quite as developed ancient giant humans? Frida's put legend here in Northern Ireland. Giant Finn McCool built the Giant's Court. Thank you, Frida, because my next thing was going to be about the Giant's Causeway. You know, I was going to say, because wasn't he? And also, do you remember I was talking about Cahulin, the Hound of Ulster? And it was supposed to be that he had done, he jumped over from Northern Ireland to Scotland, and he'd gone to the Holy Island of Iona to do his training as a young man, and that's where the Giant's Causeway is mentioned in the old the legends as well. Hi, Green Eyes. Hello, hello. I love that name, Finn McCool. It's great, isn't it? Kai Bealey says in the Tanakh Old Testament, the reference to Rephalm or giants, primarily from Iron Age Israel. The last was a king Og, who had a bed of 13 feet in length. Actually, that Og is very similar to, there are two giants that are mentioned. I think they've got mentions, you know, in a biblical sense, but they have some link with England, Gog and Magog. So it's funny how there's Gog, there's Magog, and then you've mentioned King Og. So that seems to be a very similar theme as well, doesn't it? Yeah, Og and Magog. And they've got their effigies are still to this day in the Guildhall in London. And I think, I'm sure, oh, I didn't write this bit down because I was only just going to mention the names, but that there were legends about Og and Magog in medieval England. You know, these giants. And then we've got the Cerne Abbas giant, which is one of the chalk drawings on one of the hills. I think he's the one with the big willy. You know, he's got a giant erect phallus, to be polite, and that used to be used in fertility rites. You know, they said if a couple wanted children, they'd actually go up to the giant, the rude giant, lie on his erect doodah and make love, and hopefully that would encourage fertility. And you know, I know, Sharon, it's a great big one and all. It's probably about 20 foot long. I bet Sheila's gutted she's missing out on that one, isn't she? Because she did say she wouldn't have minded going with the giants, just not giving birth to the giant offspring. And again, throughout a lot of these legends, there are all these tales about giants coming down to earth from wherever they may have come from and lying with the daughters of men and producing all of these giant offspring. So wherever you, yes, she did, Sharon. I know, the dirty bugger. Well, you know, I'm not going to judge. If she wants a giant one, she may have one. And good luck to her and every strength to her elbow. And God help her back. That's all I'm going to say on that one. So the next thing I went, because we were talking about Baalbek in the Lebanon, and the fact that there were all these tales about races of giants living in the Middle East, that then brought me on to one that I do know about. And I did know about this story. And believe it or not, the eldest of my the dog, sorry, is going to go again. Coops, please don't. Come here, mate. Come here. Come here. Nobody wants to hear you barking. You're not protecting me from the giants. Thank you. What a good boy. What a good boy. So the Middle East brings me on to a story I had heard of. The eldest of my two brothers told me about this before I'd heard it on the internet or seen it anywhere. It's a few years after it's supposed to have occurred. Sharon will probably know this already. The Kandahar giant. So from Afghanistan. I'll just wait a second because I know that my chat is quite delayed and I don't want to keep talking over anybody making comments in chat. So I'll give it a second or two. I'll have a sip of me brew and then I'll carry on and tell you about the Kandahar giant. Yeah, have you heard the full story, Sharon? Or have you just heard the name mentioned? Oh, my brew's gone cold. Well, I'll tell you what I know. Now, both my brothers did stints out in Afghanistan, but the eldest of my two brothers, and if anybody's just listening and not watching, Green Eyes is saying hello to all of you. Oh, so it's nothing in depth. Right, well, I'll just tell you how I first heard of this. My brother, both brothers, but the eldest of my two brothers, he did stints. He was at, Helmand Province, Kandahar, Sangin. He went to the real hot spots. And I'd say probably, when did he come home? Oh, gosh, 2008, 2009, something like that. But anyway, a few years after that, so I would say maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, something like that, he'd come round, we were having a few drinks, we were telling each other scary stories, trying to scare each other shitless, as you do. And he mentioned the Kandahar giants, and I said, oh, I've not heard of that. So he started telling me. Well, then I looked into it, and you can find information about this online. Now, the story goes, so I knew what he told me, so I did a little bit of research earlier, and I've got, a couple of dates and a little bit more detail than my brother had told me. So go back to 2002 in Kandahar province in Afghanistan. So obviously at that time, Green Eyes, I know about the giants. Read and seen it, very interesting. Oh, great. Well, feel free if you want to come up at all, Green Eyes, and join in. You're very welcome to. Because obviously we were having a chat on text. It was just after I got off my last text to that I got from you, and I was like, oh, I'm really bored. I'm really bored. I'm gonna come online and talk about giants because it isn't something I know about, and it gives us a little bit of a veer away from the historical stuff, doesn't it? So back in 2002, in the Kandahar province of Afghanistan, and there was a US Army patrol. Now, obviously with the Taliban, they used to hide up in the mountains, didn't they, in caves, and they had quite a few underground systems as well. They were buggers for doing hit and runs on on the Allied troops. So this group of American soldiers had gone up into the hills around Kandahar, doing a patrol and trying to see if they could sniff out any, pockets of Taliban fighters, and because anybody who knows or has had any relatives or friends, or even just watching on the telly, how bad it was out there with, IEDs getting lain, and suicide bombers and snipers and all sorts of nasty shit. So this little troop of US Army soldiers had gone out patrolling and searching through the hills around Kandahar, and they just disappeared. They had no final contact with the base. I don't know if they were working out of a fob or whatever, but anyway, they no contact whatsoever. There were no SOS calls sent back, nothing. They literally, all contact ceased. So back at their base, there's some concern that has arisen amongst, their commanders, and so they arranged for another party of soldiers to go out and search for them. Now, obviously, with the equipment that they had, they did have GPS devices with them, tracking devices. Now, whether that was in the radios they carried or the walkie-talkies, I don't know, but they did have this ability to track them by GPS. So this second troop of US Army soldiers took off in the direction, and they're tracking them with the by GPS. So because they are obviously thinking it is going to be Taliban that have they might have attacked and and another porn link. Will you all bog off? Buggers. Oh, somebody beat me again. Thank you. Well, I'm going to stop trying to hit these because you guys are doing a sterling job at getting them. So because they're suspecting that it's the Taliban, they decide to not go on a normal route. They're going to kind of weave in and out and up the hills, and trying to be quite covert in their approach to the last known location of their comrades. So it takes them quite a while, but eventually they manage to get to the exact pinpointed location via GPS. Hi, Jules. Yeah, everyone's here. Everyone's in, and we're talking about giants tonight. I'm just telling the story of the giant of Kandahar, or the Kandahar giant, whichever way around you want to say it. So after going on quite a convoluted and covert route through the hills, on the lookout all the time for Taliban, and that up there are loads and loads of caves throughout the mountains in Afghanistan. So it did take them quite a few hours, and they were on edge, shall we say. As you do, the adrenaline's pumping, you're worried about your comrades. They're continuously trying to make radio contact with the comrades, and nothing's coming back. So they're thinking, right, they've either been captured, they've either, for whatever reason, have decided to maintain radio silence, whether that's because they're surrounded and they don't want to give the position away, or they're in deep shit. So eventually they reach this spot where the last known location of their comrades was. The GPS takes them to the exact spot. And what they find is horrendous. They find broken equipment. So the stuff that the soldiers had been carrying, backpacks, the weapons, radios, trashed, absolutely trashed. There's bits and pieces all over the place, which starts them thinking that maybe, wouldn't the Taliban have taken this equipment, because guns mean everything to them. And a lot of these Taliban fighters are using old Russian rifles back from the occupation of Afghanistan back in the 80s. So any opportunity to get modern equipment, they're going to take it. So why would it all be smashed up? So there's bits of guns that, and then they're seeing bits of, the camo clothing strewn all about the place. And then the more they're looking, they then notice that there are like big chunks of flesh, what look like flesh around, some of it attached to the camouflage gear that, that these soldiers would have been wearing. They're seeing bits of bone, which they're quite sure are potentially human bone. They're getting more and more freaked out. And then they notice what looked like drag marks in the ground. Like things or something has been dragged. So, because as you know, over there, the ground up there, it's quite sandy, isn't it, up in the mountains? So it's dirt. It's not very, it's not covered in grass or what have you. So they can see quite clearly these drag marks from this last known location, which is just a big circle of havoc, broken equipment, lumps of flesh, bits of what they think is human bone, and drag marks. So they proceed very cautiously to follow these drag marks. And the marks eventually lead to the entrance of an absolutely huge cave. Now, they see this and they're thinking, the first thought is it's some sort of a savage wild animal. So, they're prepared to see something, I don't know what they were thinking. Could it be like a giant bear or a huge ferocious lion or some kind of a big cat? Whatever's going through the brain, but they're thinking potentially this is a wild animal. And instead, all of a sudden, rushing towards them from the mouth of the cave, making the most horrendous yell stroke growling sound, comes this 12-foot tall giant of a man with long, shaggy, bright red hair and a beard. And he's wielding some form of long, very primitive looking wooden stake in one of his hands. Now, despite his huge size, he's incredibly agile, and the speed with which he runs towards them, it completely, it just put them all into shock. None of them reacted. They're literally standing there holding the guns with the mouths on the chests. Now, they had heard over, the past several weeks, locals who were telling tales of a giant man-eating tribe who lived up in the caves of Kandahar. A bit like a Highlander, Sharon. Yeah, probably more like me dad. Big hairy-assed Highlander. So they'd heard all these tales, but they put it down to, maybe the locals are just trying to keep us away from the mountains, keep us from going up in the caves because the buddies are up there, the old Taliban. They're just wanting to keep us out of there. They never for 1 second thought that these stories would there be any truth to them. Oh, hi, Denny. I thought, hey, everyone, KMA, Shah, Jules, Frida, Green Eye, Simples, Meadow, Sam, Kai Bealey. Hope you lovelies are all well this evening. Yes, we are. We're talking about giants and the possibility of giants and what they are. And I'm telling the story of the Kandahar giant at the moment. So yeah, going back to that. So they literally thought this had just been scare tactics. Never for a minute did they think there was going to be an ounce of truth in these stories that they'd heard the locals telling. So without any warning, and because of the speed that this giant was approaching them, all of a sudden, no problem, Kai Beale, I'll see you in a bit, lovely. Take care driving. All of a sudden, without any warning, and the speed with which this giant kind of ran at them all, it gets this wooden stake and it thrust it right through the chest of the soldier that was nearest to it. And he's hoisted this guy up, and as you can imagine, this guy is dead within seconds. So some of the soldiers, they just, out of pure shock, without even thinking, they're just opening fire, spraying bullets at it out of pure panic. but the bullets didn't seem to have any effect. And despite this giant holding a grown man skewered on this wooden stake, he's holding it up like a lollipop, the body of this man. That's not slowing him down. The bullets aren't slowing him down. These soldiers are backing up while they're firing randomly at this thing, and it's just not slowing down or stopping. It just doesn't seem to be deterring it whatsoever, until somebody shouts, "Aim for its fucking head." So that kind of snaps them all out of this shock, and they all start aiming the weapons and firing at this giant's head. And each and every one of them, from all accounts, emptied the clips of the guns into this thing's head, and finally it collapsed onto the ground, dead. So when the initial shock had worn off, and they've obviously got the adrenaline's going, they're breathless, they've just seen one of the colleagues be skewered like a piece of meat on this wooden stake, and finally, when reality starts to sink in, and then the soldier training kicked back in again, and they start gathering themselves. So they go over, they approach this thing that's lying on the floor. They do check that it's dead. They're getting ready to pour another several hundred rounds of bullets into it, but they didn't need to. It was actually dead. And when they look closer at it, it's got 2 sets of teeth. And this is also something common, because some of these stories that go on about Nephilim and Anunnaki and what have you, they make mention of extra teeth in mouths. And this was something that stuck out to me. So apparently it's got these 2 sets of teeth, and it's also got 6 digits on each hand and each foot. And again, this 6-finger, 6-toe thing also seems to be another theme that runs through. Hi, Lady Witch. Oh, no problem. Do you want to come and clean mine when you've finished? I've got a lovely layer of dust that I'm just ignoring and hope it will go away on its own, unless Pixies come in and do it I need a house elf. I need a Dobby, a little house elf to clean for me. And I've even thought about attaching a duster to Koopy's tail, because he's just at the right height for my coffee tables, and he wags it like Billy Buggery. So I was thinking I might kill 2 birds with one stone, make him wag his tail, and he does for me. And I don't know if this may help, Lady Witch. You probably already know it, but I have got it's a spray-on polish. Now, it is meant for wood, but I have been putting it onto my leather sofa, and it's pure beeswax. It smells absolutely gorgeous. And I've got a long coffee table and a smaller square one, and the dark wood, and they're covered in scratches, as they do. And this stuff got rid of the scratches. I couldn't believe it. It's kind of filled them in. And I know that you can use, a lump of beeswax to do the same thing, but it's great stuff. Got it from Morrison's here in the UK, just in case anybody's interested. Hey, Witch, I'm chilling with a face mask and listening in. Oh, I could do with one of those. Love beeswax, the smell. Yeah, Sharon, it's gorgeous, isn't it? The only thing is, I've got wooden floor, and because it's a spray, you can imagine what happened. There was a bit of overspill, and the last time I used it, the last time I did it, it was on Christmas Eve, and I was walking around in my socks, and I must have hit a patch of this overspray of beeswax that was on my wooden floor, and didn't know it was there. That was I skated. I was really lucky I didn't end up on my backside and broke my arse bone. That's the only downfall of it, isn't it? Yeah, spinning Cooper. I think it'd be a good idea, having a spinning Cooper, Lady Witch. Little bugger needs to earn his keep as a freeloader. So going back to this story, it's got these 2 sets of teeth. It's got the extra digit on each hand and foot, which fits in with stories of other giant beings. And then so these soldiers obviously radioed it back what had happened, and they had to explain that, yeah, we've kind of found the remains of the first patrol. We've got a man down here, you know, he's deceased, and we've also got this incredibly large ginger thing that looks like a man but is, you know, 12 foot tall, is a bit on the weird side, and it's dead. So the base takes note of what's been said and sends a chopper out. Now, my brother's version, I didn't find this in the version that I found online. However, my brother's version said that a chopper came out, and because of the size of this thing, oh, no problem, Sharon. Because of the size of this thing, that they had to get a cargo net, you know, the nets that you'll sometimes see the large choppers transporting, say, a Land Rover in or something. So my brother's version was that they had to get one of these huge nets. They managed somehow, you know, with sheer brute force and the manpower that they had, was to get this giant into the net. It was then attached, well, kind of covered with tarpaulin or whatever, sheet of some sort, and hoisted into the air by this helicopter, transported back to the army base, and from there it was then loaded onto a plane, pretty damn ricky tick, and flown back to the United States, to some secret military base, to then undergo rigorous testing of some sort. Hi, Sid. How are you, my love? Are you all right? So after that, the soldiers who had killed it were then all rounded up back at camp. They were debriefed, and each and every one of them was given a script to follow regarding the deaths of the first patrol and the death of their comrade who got skewered by this thing. And this script was basically, you know, to kind of say that yes, the first lot were killed by a Taliban, you know, a group of these Taliban insurgents, and they also were responsible for the death of the member of our patrol who died, and this was it. And this was apparently to stop anything leaking to the media. And as would happen, you know, they are telling other colleagues. They're obviously in shock, and people know what's, you know, that something's gone on. These soldiers are not reacting in the way that they would expect them to react if it had just been a group of Taliban that had attacked and killed the comrades. So questions are asked and people talk. And so it was a very hot topic of discussion amongst the US soldiers in Kandahar around that time. Now, my brother reckoned he'd heard it when he was out there. I don't think he did, but I can't prove he didn't. Now, whether this was, you know, because you always hear it from someone who was there. He said he heard it from someone who was there. I don't think that for a second. I think he's possibly heard rumours. Now, whether it's a true story or not, I don't know. This giant has never resurfaced. Nobody's ever said what happened to it or anything that had come of any tests that were done on it. But apparently, this whole story was allegedly leaked by a member of the second troop of soldiers who went in. And if anybody watches Mr. Ballon, he's also, when I was doing a search for stuff online, I noticed that Mr. Ballon had covered this story about the Kandahar giant. So he tells a brilliant story. So if anybody's wanting to look into it, or hear him, you know, a proper storyteller, not me, but actually listening to him telling the story, because I intend to go and watch it later on, I would recommend giving him a listen. because if anyone's going to tell a great story, it's going to be him. I mean, he's an ex-Navy SEAL, so he's going to tell it, you know, from a soldier's perspective. Oh, no worries, Green Eyes, that's fine. So Sharon, I always thought that it was a story, not that it was true. And a giant, though. Well, you know, can we say it wasn't? And isn't it funny that, you know, these tales, because we've just been on about Baalbek in Lebanon, these are all in the Middle East. They've got tales about a race of giants that apparently occupied the Middle East. Well, it's not that much of a stone throw away, is it, from Afghanistan? You know, that was supposed to be a race of giants occupying that area. You've then got, go over then into the, go towards like the Israel direction. Oh, is that the link, Sheila? Thank you, love. You were brilliant. Yeah, there's the link that Sheila's dropped. So please go over and watch him. I love that guy. He tells such good stories. He really, really is a good storyteller. He should have been a skald in Viking times. We'll never officially know. We won't, Sharon. And like I started off with, what happened to those several 7-foot plus skeletons that were found in Illinois back in 1908? They were found, you know, it was talked about. I've no doubt it was in newspapers, and then miraculously they disappeared. And this has happened before. And we were talking about the Smithsonian, weren't we? You know, they are, I would say they're a bit on the shady side for things that disappear. Oh, Sheila, hello. Kissing everyone, been listening, but been doing my bathroom routine. Not a problem. People are doing other things. Well, this is what it's all about, isn't it? It's something to have a listen to. That Lady Witch is cleaning furniture. Tisme Denny is lying there with a face mask on, probably a glass of wine and chilling out. Green Eyes is doing her ironing, and you're doing your bathroom routine. And Sam's listening in, and Kai Beeley is driving. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of listeners, which is absolutely fine. Yeah, I think the Smithsonian's got everything, Sharon, because that's not the first time that the giant skeletons have been found, is it? And go back to that quote that I gave from Abraham Lincoln, which happened long before those discoveries in 1908. And there are mounds, burial mounds all over America, aren't there? These giant things. Now, I know that because they're believed to be Native American burial mounds, they're not allowed to go up, you know, digging them up. But wow, you know, imagine if they could. Imagine if you could go and dig into those giant mounds and see what was in there, you know, other than finding things by accident like these construction workers did. Sid Fisher says, Old Testament mentions giants, obviously Goliath and also Noah and Methuselah were allegedly 8 foot tall. Yes, and we've just been talking as well about, well, Kai Beeley mentioned King Og, and then I mentioned there's Gog and Magog, who were also giants mentioned in like Old Testament. I wish I had some sweeties. I've got a bit of a sweet craving tonight, although I picked up a jar of salted caramel spread, extra special salted caramel spread from Aldi, and it's sitting there unopened, and I'm thinking, should I delve into that with a teaspoon maybe? Giants depicted in the pyramids, they are. They're depicted in you know, like the Mayan temples and the Incas and stuff like that. Then look at those giant heads on Easter Island, where they've now discovered that the majority of these statues, they're not just heads, they're actually, you know, the ground has come up over time, but there's a lot more to these giant statues. And when they found on Easter Island, when they found the quarry where these statues were picked out from, and they found, you know, that this was a massive industry of making these giant heads. They found where rocks were being split and people, you know, chiseling away. Now, these would have been when these were made, the people who were quarrying this stone would have been or should have been using basically Stone Age tools. I wish they would, Sharon. I wish they would. I mean, I'm wondering, is it protected? Does anybody, well, Green Eyes may know. Does anybody know if it's actually protected on Easter Island, whereby they're not allowed to? You know, like with the burial mounds in North America, they're protected because, you know, the more than likely are Native American burial mounds. The hats intrigue me. I know, what did they signify? Because they were saying that because of the traces of paint on them, they were painted in a certain way. Oh, they are. All right. Thank you, Green Eyes. Thank you. And then you look at the, you know, some of the temples in South America. I mean, there are some slabs of rock that are bigger than and these are perfectly cut, you know, that look, the lines on these slabs of granite or what have you, have been cut so perfectly straight that they, you know, the tools that were available at the time could not have done this. And one of these slabs, I found this as well. Should have looked in it a bit more, but I was running out of time. I had about 15 minutes before my live was due to start. One of these big slabs in South America, there's a guy standing on top of it, and it weighs more than any piece of modern machinery would be able to move. And it's also bigger than any piece of, you know, you see some of these gigantic diggers, and they're absolutely gigantic, that they use for, say, the open cast mining around the world. But these huge slabs of stone are not in their original location. So they have been moved, but by what and by whom? Oh, you're talking about, sorry, I missed the chat. Not just heads, full statues, Jules. Yeah. If you Google it, Jules, you know, the Easter Island, and the weird looking things they've got, their eyes are painted white with it's blue, I'm sure it's blue inside it, isn't it? Like these white um white eyes with a blue for the iris, and they're all looking out over the sea. Frida says, always amazed at the craftsmanship of ancient builders without any power tools. I know. Oh, is that a link to Easter Island, Sheila? Sorry, I can't tell while I'm on StreamYard. But it's absolutely fascinating. And when you see the size of some of the walls that have been constructed, I mean, there's one in India as well. It's absolutely gigantic. And the people who are supposed to have built them, they just didn't have the know-how or the tools or the lifting equipment. Oh yeah, I remember now, I've seen them. Yes, it is. It's really interesting, Sheila. And they all have markings on the backs. And what did they mean? And then make another jump over, although I know we're going to do this at some point because Joe Mardre is really interested in it, is Nazca. You know, the Nazca planes and the drawings, they're absolutely gigantic as well. Why? What's this obsession with giants? And you go through, you know, the stories of Gilgamesh, you know, the Indian stories of Gilgamesh. Sorry, I'm just going back through chat to see if I've missed anything. tell you what, the porn bots are on a bit of a mission tonight, aren't they? You see, the people of was it the people of Easter Island? You know, they're Polynesian people. Well, they didn't have at that time. They just didn't have the advanced technology that would have been required to make those statues. There seems to be two types of statues on Easter Island. It's the shape of the face. Yeah, do you know what? I remember hearing something about that. I think it was earlier last year. To be honest, the Pompeii statues. Which ones, Jules? Do you mean the bodies? The ones that were covered in ash that they've got all around Pompeii? Because I've visited Pompeii and Herculaneum because I lived in Italy for a while. Has a miscook. Well, Jules, I don't know if you know or not, but they're not actually statues. Actually, you might know that they're not actually statues. I'll wait because I don't want to say something. Then you go, yeah, I bloody knew that. You know it all. Shut up. But it's fascinating if anybody's been around Pompeii. It's unbelievable. They're constantly uncovering extra stuff. Have you seen them? You know the stuff. Yes, I have. Yeah, I've been to Pompeii twice, and I loved it. But Herculaneum is further down the coast, and that is, yeah, it's not as well visited as Pompeii. It's not as well excavated as Pompeii. But that is where people from Pompeii fled to. They were trying to get onto boats to obviously leave as the volcano was erupting. And in one of the buildings that was probably a boathouse of some sort, which is down towards the beach, in there were loads and loads of bodies found. I have got pics somewhere, Jules. I'll have to try and dig them out because it was a good few years ago. Although me and Porky were talking about only a couple of nights ago, actually, he's never been. And I was saying, do you know what? We need to do a trip. So probably after COVID, because he'd really like to go and I'd love to go back. But I did say Herculaneum to me was less hassle because Pompeii is so busy. Yes, Sheila. Yes, I have. Again, sometimes I just watch random stuff on YouTube, and I didn't watch all of it though. But yes, they do look. They look very much like dinosaurs, don't they? I know some people have different, different theories on what they are, but I can't say I'm with you. I think they're dinosaurs. But yeah, sorry, just skipping back to Pompeii. There are, if you've watched the programs on it, they've got. I mean, even the paintings are still intact on the walls. You know, and you can go into the brothels there, and there are pictures on the walls of different. It's quite funny. You know that there are willies everywhere, statues of willies, and my grandson is obsessed with dinos. I think most kids are, aren't they? Especially little boys. But yeah, in these brothels, and there are different chambers in there with stone beds on. So I'm hoping that the poor women at least had a mattress on top, but they're very pokey, dingy. They're like little cells, really, and they would have been for each prostitute. But as you go into the brothels, there are pictures on the walls, and at first you know, you think, oh, are these just, you know, to kind of get you in the mood? It's a bit like flicking through the Kama Sutra. They're all different positions, and you know, there's pictures of threesomes and blow jobs, and yeah. But it's actually, it's now thought that it was more of a menu because they have got numbers against them. So you'd go in and like you'd go, oh, I'll have a number 3, please, or I'll have a number 17. So it was more, you know, so you actually had laid out there for you what was on offer. Oh, Sharon, do you know, are you with BT by any chance? Because believe it or not, about 3/4 of an hour before I came live, I lost everything here. It all went out. So I did try to do a search online using my mobile data to see if it was. Do you know what? I don't know what the number 69 was. Would you like to supersize that, Mum? Yeah. But it is quite funny looking at it because, yeah, when you look on it as a menu rather than just photographs to get or pictures to get you in the mood, and it does make sense, doesn't it? That you just go in and go, want one of those. That was mine last night, Sharon. So annoying. Yeah. But there was BT was having a few issues earlier. So I'm expecting any moment that mine's going to go out again. And if I do, I will apologise and I'll try to get back on using my mobile data just in case I vanish. So yeah, it was quite an ingenious idea. But while you're on about the dinosaurs there, Sharon, what do you think about that? Because there's that one in Africa. Is it called is it Mabili and Benke or something? And there was a group of, I think the guy was French. I watched a program on this about a year or two ago. So I'm really sorry if I got the name wrong. I think he's in the Congo, actually, if my memory serves me right. But this, he was a French, I think he is a biologist and an adventurer. He kind of goes after big crocodiles and so on and so forth. But he then decided to get a group together to go out to, oh, there's no sound. Oh, bugger. That sucks. Hang on a second. Let me just type this for you. Um, sorry, guys. I'm just going to type to Sharon. Right, bear with me a second. I'll just drop the link. Da, da, da. There we go. I think it's Green as. I think it's Sharon that's lost sound. God, what the hell did I do there? I've obviously put a link in when instead of the typing. Oh, for fuck's sake! Technicalities. I tell you what, give me 1 second, guys. I need to powder my nose, or as what does bedtime clown say? Go and scratch in the litter tray. I'm bursting for a wee. So give me 1 second, and hopefully Sharon will see the link and hit it. Give me 2 ticks, guys. I'm going to leg it upstairs and be straight back with you. Right, I is back. Okay, I was just listening, trying not to iron my fingers. Oh gosh, no, don't be ironing no fingers there, Green Eyes. Sid, we've got less likes than watchers, so give it the thumbs up for Kate. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you. That's very kind of you. But as I was talking to Green Eyes earlier, and I think I lost 3 subs yesterday, which doesn't matter. But I said it's quantity. Sorry, it's quality over quantity. So I don't mind if there's no thumbs. I'm just glad that all you wonderful lot are in here. Yeah, Sharon, I dropped the link in case you're dropping out. If you end up that you can't hear anything, just come up and then you can just listen to me drone on. You don't have to say anything if you don't want, but at least you can hear what's being said. And obviously, in fact, I'll drop it again. Anybody's welcome to come up, as you all know. There we go. Do it again. So yeah, just as I was talking when Sharon lost connection, that's talking about the dinosaur thing in Turkey. And there's this, so this guy went out to, as I said, I think it's the Congo, because he had heard these legends and rumors about this creature that looked very much like a dinosaur. A bit, I'm going to say it wrong. Is it like a brachiosaur or something, but a smaller version of it? Obviously bigger than an elephant. And he'd heard tales that this thing would appear out of the river, or it'd upturn boats, or they'd see it like plodding through the jungle or along the sides of the riverbanks. So he'd taken a book. Okay, I'm 4G. Off to bed soon, but thank you. No problem, love. No problem. What time are we on? Oh gosh, 10 to 10. Cowboy time. My dad used to call it cowboy time. So he went off into the jungle, and him and his little party of explorers and investigators, and they went to this remote village, and it was a remote village. Now, the people there hadn't seen, they had no books, they didn't read and write, no television, obviously. They had no contact with towns and cities. They literally lived in the middle of the jungle. So he got this book out, and he's showing them, and I don't even think they spoke the same language. Sorry, I don't think that they spoke a language that they could get a translator for. They were trying very hard to make themselves understood. So they opened this book and they pointed at monkeys, basically memoing, do you know what this is? And like, oh yeah. And they said the name for it. And then they pointed at what was the next one? Oh, crocodile. Yeah, they knew what that was. And then they pointed at things like an elephant and some form of big cat, and they went through birds and so on. And then at the end, he'd got a picture of a dinosaur that looked very much like this, whatever, like a brachiosaur or whatever it's supposed to look like. The ones with the long necks, they look like an elephant's body, but with a very long neck and the pointy tail. And they're all like, oh, yeah, we know what that. And that's when they said this name, which is something like Mabili Makenke or something. Probably completely messed that up. So they wouldn't have known that this was an extinct animal that hasn't been around for, 60 million years or whatever, how long it was. And they're describing it, and they're telling him his name and the same where it lives, that comes in and out of water. And they ended up managing to understand what these people were saying and where it's been seen. So, is it outside the realms of possibility that there are dinosaurs, 1 or 2 maybe living in these remote places? Look at Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, and Morag the Monster from Loch Morar. They were supposed to be, was it plesiosaurs? The way that they've described them. Maybe everything didn't die out when the meteor hit. Maybe. What do you think? I shall stop gabbing for a moment and I'll look through chat and let anybody make a comment if you like. Nobody's put anything yet. Okie dokie. I notice how we've skipped over. So I started off on giants and then we've gone on to possibly little pockets of dinosaurs living all over the place. Love the idea of dinosaurs surviving and evolving. Yes, Lady Witch, I do as well. Sharon, there's a dinosaur just been... Oh, has there? Just been discovered? Sid says, I'd say Antarctica will have some dino-type creatures. And Jules is here, but shopping online. Not a problem. Well, Sid, didn't they... there's been some paleontologists who have reckoned that dinosaurs possibly had... could have had fur and feathers in order to stay warm in those colder climates, and that they would have occupied Arctic regions. Greenhouse, a giant sea monster dinosaur was found a couple of days ago in the East Midlands. I've missed that one. Well, actually, I bet that's, yeah, huge dragon crocodile thing. Wow. Well, actually, I bet that's something that Bam will probably cover, because she was talking about dinosaur egg the other night, wasn't she? Saw a clip earlier, looks like a full one. Wow. Oh, is that? Oh, thank you, Green Eyes. Thanks for that link. I'll have a look at that later on as well. Yeah. So maybe that one I'll not go into too much depth. Obviously, I don't know anything about it, but like I said, when we were in BAMS the other night and she was talking about the dinosaur egg that had been found in China, you know, with the embryo in it, having the feathers, which, you know, they have said before, which I'd heard quite a while ago, that some people were reckoning that they would have had feathers and or fur as they were starting to evolve. So yeah. But were any of you in the live when I was mentioning that the very first documented, so properly investigated and documented dinosaur ever found? So there were dinosaurs found all over the world, but people didn't know what they were. And so the very first dinosaur to be dug up, identified as such, documented and written about, was actually in England. It was found in Oxfordshire. So prior to that, when these what's it called? The sorry, I'm just looking. Sid Vicious, there's a very old Bullshitosaurus still alive in Weston-super-Mare. Who's that? Or am I being thick? Bullshit. Well, it's obviously somebody. Yeah. So I'm gathering it's somebody who's annoying, but I don't know who lives in Weston-super-Mare. But yeah, prior to this being identified as a dinosaur, and I'll tell you how they did it as well. But prior to this, when they were finding these huge fossilized bones, again, they went back to people thought that they were the remains of giant human beings, because they knew that giants had lived before. So again, it comes back to the giants, doesn't it? Because of all these tales about giants walking the earth. So they thought at first dinosaurs, the dinosaur bones they were finding and the funny shaped jaws were because they belonged to this ancient race of now extinct giant people. And the reason that they realized that they were actually dinosaurs, which is some form of gigantic lizard, was the guy in England. Cooper, stop it. Stop it. Stop. Don't bark. Oh, shitlord. All right. Thank you, Jules. I didn't know. I didn't realise he lived in Weston-super-Mare. Lady Witch, there's been a Bostonian bullshitosaurus spotted as well, Sid. Yes. Very good, Lady Witch. Very good. But yeah, the reason that they finally realized that these were dinosaurs, they were a giant reptile, was because it was actually a pastor, a priest of some sort, vicar, something like that. And he was the guy who, when he was looking at the fossilized jaw of this dinosaur that was discovered in Oxfordshire, he noticed that there were teeth in the jaw waiting to come through. And he realized that it wasn't a mammalian trait, it was a reptilian trait, because obviously reptiles are constantly replacing teeth, aren't they? The same as sharks do. And so he then realized that this was actually a giant reptile, not a giant extinct human. So there you go. A little bit of trivia for you. Yeah, I think there's a lot of bullshitosauruses on YouTube, Lady Witch and Sid. Have I missed anything else there? Reptiles. What else have we got? Tries to feed on rats and celery, but found those are not to its taste. Oh, Lady Witch, I thought Dodgy Dave was in Australia. I think that one, Jules, would have been called a dodgy Filosaurus or a dodgy Copperfilosaurus. The Smithsonian must have some amazing secrets. Yeah, you know what, Sid? I reckon the Smithsonian is probably on a par with the Vatican vaults for what they've got hidden in there. There's a dinosaur carving on an ancient Indian temple. They're all over the bleeding place, Sharon. They're all over the place, and I think they get overlooked a lot because people kind of give them a cursory glance and think that they're some kind of decorated mythical being or decorated actual being, like maybe an elephant, but it's in all its regalia and it's just been a really shit artist that's drawn them. It's only when you look at them in more depth that you realize, no, this actually looks like an extinct dinosaur, or going back to the spaceman looking things, this looks like a human being wearing a space suit or diving equipment. And is it on the Red Sea? Those cave drawings that are of what look like people with mermaid tails. And they're about, I think it's something like 10, 15,000 years, if not more, older, of men with spears, like, land people from the land with arms and legs, looking like they're trying to stab or in a battle with these half people, half fish type creatures that look remarkably like mermaids. And I'm sure that's on the Red Sea or the Dead Sea, one or the other. Sid Vicious, they're overlooked because that would question Darwin's theory. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I watched two men dredge a river and pull out a mammoth tusk. Where was that, Sharon? Was that online? Oh, thank you. You clarified it just as I asked. Well, they found that baby mammoth, didn't they, in Siberia, and they were. I know that they were trying to extract, because they did find it had intact DNA, and because it was a female mammoth, they were trying. Although it was a baby, because as you know, with any mammals, you're born with your ovaries contain all the eggs that you're ever going to produce in your lifetime. And so they knew that although they wouldn't have been matured as such, that yeah, they've been coming in all night, Sid. Dirty buggers. But yeah, so they were actually looking to possibly extract ova from this baby mammoth and try to clone it, which is exactly the same thing that they're doing with the Tasmanian tiger, because one of those prawn, we call them prawn links, Sharon, rather than saying PORN, in case we get bots hit us. But yeah, with the Tasmanian tiger, one of those preserved babies is a female that's still got its reproductive system intact. So I know that that's what they were trying to do, was extract ova from this little leftover Tassie tiger to see if they could attempt to clone it and bring it back from extinction. Oh, you mean Sharon's video of a man pulling out a mammoth tusk? Okie dokie, sorry. I thought you meant these links that are coming in because people call them prawn links. Because yeah, they're working overtime tonight for their money. I'll tell you what else I really liked as well. Going away from mammoths and giants and dinosaurs. Do you remember Ötzi, the ancient man who was found in the ice on the borders between Austria and Italy way back when? Yeah, you're right, Sheila. You're right. I found it fascinating. When a woman carries a female baby, she's carrying the eggs of her grandchildren too. Yeah. Yeah, I was quite surprised though when I found that out, that when you're born, I mean, I found this out at school. We had a really, really good biology teacher. She was cool, and she was the one explained that to us all. And she said that you don't you're not producing them through your life. You're born with every egg that you're ever going to produce. They're already there. And then she used that as a kind of thing, going, well, that's why you shouldn't drink and you shouldn't smoke when you get old enough to do it, because you're just going to ruin what you've got. You don't make new ones, you know. But, you know, it does make sense. The other thing that fascinates me as well are the bog bodies. I don't know if any of you have watched the programs on them. The ancient bog bodies found all over Europe. Everyone is female until 6 weeks when testosterone kicks in. Let's get a sip of me now cold and extinct brew. I know, Sharon, it makes you think, doesn't it, the way that Sheila put that? But it's true. I think the wedding celebrations are going well next door. There's lots of giddiness and giggling going on. Good on them. You know, just as an aside, you would think, because this is a tiny village I live in, everybody knows everybody. And the majority of people who live there have lived here since the founding of the village. You know, some of the names from this area go back hundreds of years, but it's not a bit of an inbred cliquey village, if you get what I mean. You know, people are welcomed in. I've been to some places and you know, if you're a stranger and you haven't been born and bred there, they look at you like you've got three heads. And I'm sure it's the same all over the world in different, you know, different countries. There will always be a community that's like that. Well, this village isn't. And what I really like about it is that although it's a very traditional, it's actually quite a, I would say for the most part, it's a pretty right-wing village, as in not right wing as in neo-Nazi right wing, but I mean as in it's very traditional. It's a very affluent area, and what I love about it is that the longer I lived here, because I've only lived here 9 years in this particular village. I lived in a different one close by until about 9 years ago, and I moved here instead because it was smaller and and quieter. And what I loved about it was that the number of gay couples who live here, married or just living together, they are, I mean, I've got gay couples either side of me. And then in the next street, there are another two gay couples. One's a female couple and the other's a male couple. And we counted it up one time, just me and my friend Uncle P, who came in on New Year. You know, she's part of a gay couple as well. Which is why I call it Uncle P, because it's become a standing joke. And yeah, and that's what I like about it. There's absolutely no judgmental attitude, none of the stirring. Like, we were all out in the street. We weren't making a lot of noise because there's one of the guys in the street works nights. So that's why we didn't have the music blasting and we weren't all screaming when the girls set off to go to the registry office. But what I like is the fact that it's really, really accepting of anybody, which is quite rare for a small, closely knit and rural village in England. I have a gay man next door. He gets his chopper out every day. Chopper as in, are we thinking of that chopper or wood chopper? Does he go out chopping wood? Are we making double entendres here, Sharon? Or do you literally mean he's getting his old man out every day? Yes, yeah, I'm glad I clarified that. I thought I'm not going to take you at face value on this one. Because this conversation could have gone in an entirely different direction. Yeah, so it was nice seeing that wedding today. It was lovely. Oh, has he got a mammoth tusk? Lady Witch, if you're still listening, oh, just while I check before she comes back. Yes, I was going to ask about the wedding. Were you not invited? Well, no, but only because, I mean, obviously they're keeping it restricted, and it was very, they only had a month to try and sort it out. And, you know, they haven't got money to throw around. So I'm just quite happy having them as lovely neighbours. And I'm gonna do something for them in a few days. But I wanted to keep my distance because I have been round a few people, and especially with me going to the theatre, I didn't want to risk having carrying COVID germs and spreading it to the happy couple just before their the wedding. Um, Lived in Lame in Northern Ireland for a good few years. You were called a blow-in if you weren't born there by the people who were born there. Ah, right, yes, I get you now. A blowing in on the wind. Yeah, it's just why I love this place. It's so welcoming. However, the likelihood is I probably won't be here that much longer. So there might be movements on the card. Well, there will be movements on the cards, but I'm not sure exactly when. I would say probably within the next couple of months. What else have I missed? Just had to take my... What? Oh gosh, am I being thick? What's a GTN? Just had to take my GTN, for fuck's sake. I'm okay now, though. I don't know what that is, Jill. Sorry if I'm being thick. Moving in with... Yes, Sheila. Yes. Yeah, he asked me probably about 2.5, 3 months ago, and I was humming and hawing and humming and hawing. But you know what? You can spend your... Well, I wasn't humming and hawing. It was just kind of like, oh shit, wasn't expecting that. And yeah. Oh dear, Jules, you okay? Okay, Jules. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Sheila. I'm just worried about Jules. I don't know what GTN is, but the two nurses are asking, is she okay? So I want to know if you're okay as well, without prying. Yeah, I don't think they were being complimentary. No, I didn't either, Sharon. I wasn't sure. Oh, for angina. Oh, Jules, do you know, my nan had angina. She used to have to take... There was a little tablet that she had to put under her tongue when she got the palpitations. Oh gosh, oh Jules, I didn't know you had... That's... Yeah, I remember my nana used to panic, which it's typical, isn't it? You know, you're bound to panic like that. Oh, oh, God love you. Spray or tablet that opens your blood vessels up. Am I missing some? It is pork chop, Mr. Sexy. Yes, Sid. Sorry, love. I thought you were in here last night. Yes, we came clean because I kept messing up, and some of these guys had already worked it out. But as I said last night, please don't change anything now that you know who he is, because he likes coming in here for the bants and the crack and having a laugh, and yeah. Frida said yes, you missed the big reveal. Yeah, he was in here and he texted me and yeah, let me know that I'd fucked up. I'd kind of let it slip, which I didn't think anyone had noticed, but yeah. Yeah, Sheila had noticed, Lady Witch had noticed. His wing woman hadn't, funnily enough. Green Eyes hadn't, and Tismy Denny hadn't. I think the rest of you had, though, hadn't you? You'd kind of worked it out. Wow, it must be a laugh. Laugh a second in your house, fair play. Well, we don't live together at the minute, Sid. Just right now, but we will be. All bets are off now, and we promise nothing. Absolutely, Lady Witch. Right, Lady Witch, while you're here, yeah, please don't, because he said if it stops being like that, if people start acting differently now, I won't come in no more. And I said, they won't. So, yes, Lady Witch, I don't know if you noticed, but I posted a little video, not the wedding one, but it's one with photographs. You know, the places I talked about last night, and there's photographs in there of the grave cuts and the Halton Cross, which is also Sigurd Cross, and the Hogback gravestone. So, and one photograph of the Curedale Hoard. So I didn't know if you'd seen it or not, but yeah. Oh, the spray just leaves him with a headache. Oh, Jules, I'll talk quietly for you. Shall I try and do some ASMR? And if I talk like this, but say, people stick things up their bums and end up in A&E. They also really enjoy warm leather and PVA glue. Sorry, that's my version of of ASMR. Oh, I'm only joking, Jules. No, I remember that I remember my nana used to get the banging head as well. Simples, there you go. Dennis Kenga, is your title influenced by Pirates of the Caribbean? Whose Dennis? Mine or somebody else's? The title of this. When Barbarossa says something like, "Here there be monsters." Yeah, well, it was, they used to say things like, "Here there be monsters, here there be dragons." Yeah. So it was kind of the old explorer things, and they'd put them on maps, wouldn't they? Be careful of this place. Here there be dragons. Here there be monsters. Here there be giants. So that's why I picked it, because we were talking about the giants. So I'm sorry if you came in thinking that we were going to talk about Vikings tonight. We haven't. Oh, familiarity. Yeah. Oh, Lady Witch. Yeah, I did. I think it's cool. Oh, and speak of the devil, up he pops. I'm high and left tonight, Green Eyes. Your right wing is a little low. Bank left a little out of the sun. Hello. Simples, gerbils in bottles, wriggle. Simples, do you know what? I got sent I got sent a clip about that, because this is something else I'm going to mention in a minute now, and I think you're all going to laugh at me, because I am so thick, it's unreal. But I'll just go through the chat, and then I'll mention about the gerbil in bottles, and you can laugh at me like the idiot I am. Putchop, why is it every time I come in here I catch you talking about putting something up your bum? It wasn't up my bum. I was doing the channel's version of ASMR because Jules has got a little headache. So, and I was just keeping it in line with what the usual topics are in this channel. Putchop, welcome back from Frida. Hey, says Dennis. Oh yeah, see, Vicious. Weird that Putchop. I know, isn't it? But we didn't go through the food phase yet. Thank you, I all the hinges on the door so you didn't notice me sneaking. Not a problem. As you know, you're always very welcome in here, my love. Janice, when is the next quiz, by the way? I'm going to do the quiz on Friday for anybody who wants to be around. So we'll do another quiz. I'm not decided what to do the first part on. Do you want to do a history one, guys and gals, or do you just want to go into the mods one? Do a know your mods thing, because you should have got used to a few of us by now, Dennis. But yeah, I really enjoyed that last week. I was laughing my head off at some of the answers. Green Eyes, I'm doing a low flyover now. God, I'm really behind on chat, guys. Sorry, I'll try and catch up. Simples, that's a rat, but it's almost a cat. Did I miss the part where there's food? Yes, we kind of skipped that one tonight. Next, you'll be telling us that isn't your PVA too. It absolutely is not my PVA. Thank you very much. No, which straight in here with the prawns. Denise, really don't mind, Frida. Denise, Mr. Clever Clogs, you were so knowledgeable on the Vikings. You just want to beat us all again. I think he does. To sort the food issue out, I have pizza, wedges and onion rings on order. Get lost. I've not had any tea. I'm sitting here starving. I'm going to eat the dog in a minute. All that's going to be left on this sofa is a bit of black and white fur and maybe a couple of claws. I enjoy learning from her questions and testing knowledge. Oh, thank you, Dennis. I had pizza for tea. Right, let's talk tits. Boneless box in this house? Absolutely. Simple as meerkat. Tim will be here when he knows there's prawns. Lady Witch, I didn't realise that was what Kiss meant when we were talking about a menu. Oh, the menu, the porn menu in the brothels in Pompeii. I've had Gina De Campo's meatballs for tea. Sheila, I wouldn't turn down Gino D'Acampo's meatballs either. Can we talk legs and arses? I'm not really a tits kind of guy. Sharon, my cat sicked up a half-eaten mouse. Its little hand was sticking out. Get it on a butty quick, girl. Right, I'm going to tell you what made me laugh. You know when Simples made the comment about a hamster, a gerbil, sorry. Okay, so last night when I was talking about, please stop me if anybody noticed, but I obviously had a very sheltered life, being a convent girl. Last night, when Pork Chop came in the chat and said what we all on about, before the big reveal this was, I said, oh, we've been talking about, I am going to go there because I found it funny, Pork Chop, so I'm just going to share it. I want to see if anybody else knows what it meant, because I felt like a right idiot this morning. Okay, so when he came in the chat and said what you're talking about, and this is before the big reveal, so I said, well, we've just been, because we'd been talking about people going into A&E, hadn't we, with things stuck up the bums. So I said, we've been talking about things with people with things going into hospital with things stuck up the bums. And then Sheila had mentioned that a man's tickly bit was up his bum. And then I said, but we've been talking about the Vikings in the Northwest. And I'm also going to do, my next live on the Vikings is going to be, yes, Sharon, and this is where we're going with it, okay? So I said, my next live is going to be the north of England, from Cumbria across to Northumbria, and all those places along there that the Vikings have influenced. And he put in, as in Felching, and I thought that Felching was a place up along the borders that I hadn't heard of. And I don't know if any of you heard me. He did and didn't let on to me. So I'm saying, oh, I've not heard of that place. Is that up in, Cumbria and Northumberland, in that area? And he didn't answer. So when people mention things in chat, so that I don't forget, Sheila, I didn't know what it meant. So when people mention things in chat and I've not heard of them, like you mentioned about the Roman name for Doncaster, I wrote that down in my little... No, I didn't know it either, Simples, but obviously because of where it came in chat, because of the delay between me talking and the chat coming up, I thought it was in answer to my comment about the north of England. So I wrote it down in my book. Find out where Felching is. Because I thought it was a bloody place, and it's not. Apparently, it's the act of people sticking things up the bums for a bit of a thrill. So that's that's why I got sent to just prove to me what Felching was, because I thought it was a place up in the north of England. He sent me a video. There's this radio program of these two blokes, or this bloke telling the story, a proper news story about these two gay gentlemen who one of them stuck a gerbil up the other one's bum, and it got stuck. It was in a like a toilet roll tube, a cardboard tube, and the gerbil got stuck. So he was trying to get, when the one with the gerbil up his bum had had enough, he'd shout Armageddon to let the other guy know it was enough, and the hamster would come out. I don't know whether it was trained to that word. There he is, Armageddon. So I don't know if it was trained to know the word, but he'd shout Armageddon, and the gerbil didn't appear. So he struck a match to see down the tube, to see where the gerbil was, and it ignited a pocket of gas that was coming from the intestines. So it lit fire to it, and these flames set fire to his hair and his face and gave him like third-degree burns. But not only that, it then ignited a further pocket of gas higher up the intestines that then caught fire and set fire to the gerbil and blasted it out like a cannonball, which then hit him in the face and broke his nose. So that is how today I learned what felching meant. It is not a place in northern England where Vikings might have settled. It is the act of sticking things up your bum. So there we go. I felt really stupid. None of you, anybody who knew what that word meant and didn't let me know in chat last night, can I just say you are bastards? Because I felt like a right knobhead this morning. I'm asking, whereabouts is that place you mentioned? He went, what place? I went, the one, you know, when I'm doing the Vikings in Northern England. He's going, what? I said, it began with an F. I said, was it Fetley or something? I said, hang on, I've written it down. And I went over to I went to my book and I said, no, it's the place called Felching. And all I've got is Pork Chop screaming, laughing on the other end of the phone. Oh, there you go. He's dropped the link just in case you want to listen to it, because that is the story. Yes, Jules. Pork Chop's just dropped the link for it. What's that? Trust me, I am still waiting for the delay in you talking. I know, I'm trying. Simple as meerkat. Well, I never learned that in my fucking training. What about felching? Don't be blaming Geordie blokes for that. Oh, sorry, I'm really well behind on the chat, guys. Sorry about this. Really nice. That's what Richard Gere did. What? He put a gerbil up his bum. Sharon, I want there to be a felching we can all visit. Where? I think it just relates to it. Foreign objects, from what I've been told. Lady Witch, with all the rude names, it would not surprise me at all. Loads of laughing. Naughty bloody gerbil. Remember the rumour about the hamster and the Pet Shop Boys? What? What? Frida, I don't even know about that either. Lady Witch, I'm never going to listen to Armageddon in the same way again. No, Armageddon! God, I'm so far behind here. Sorry about this. Hope that's all you dropped. Yeah. I heard it was gay oral bum sucking of blood. What? Sheila, what? Oh. And Sid thought the same thing. Oh, I'm learning you. Oh, now I wish I hadn't said it. Cooper, yeah, Cooper's really disgusted as well. So yeah, as much as I like to appear well-educated and intelligent, if ever I try and act cocky, if ever I try and act like I am a bit of a know-it-all, just remind me that I was the person who thought that Felching was a village in Northern England. You can have that one on me. I'll take that one for the team. You're right. You're right, Frida. No wonder they don't come in here. We're always. Have we had a single chat yet where we haven't gone there? Because I don't think we have. I'm just going to pop my kettle on, guys. Give me 1 second. I'll just fill it up and then I'll come away while it's boiling. Oh, dear me. Bum sucking. Bum sucking. Who would ever think to... Oh, dear me. Who would ever think to do something like bum sucking? No, it's not specifically gerbil related, Simples Meerkat. I think it's like, you know, we were talking about the people ending up in A&E with like a light bulb up the bum, or a or that old guy that my friend was on about with the Old Spice bottle. I think it's things like that. Pork chop. According to the Urban Dictionary, felching is a sexual act of like. Can't even read it. Simples like ferrets or slides. I tell you what, how would you get a ferret up somebody's bum? Well, I suppose where there's a will, there's a way, but Lady Witch, admit it, you all Google this mess. I haven't. I really haven't. Sheila, yes, really nasty. It's a word used when a man ejaculates inside his gay partner and sucks it out. Sorry, I know, disgusting. Or a tampon up the willy. What the actual F? How on earth do you get a tampon in your willy? Yeah, I need to know that. Remember Chutney Ferret? No, I don't know what Chutney Ferret. Oh my goodness, where is this gone? Yeah, tell him, Cooper, you're getting shouted at. See, look on the screen. That voice. He'll see. It worked. He shut up. He read his name and thought, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." Lady Witch, I'm an open-minded kind of girl, but that's a oh hell no on the felching. Thank you. Yeah. Sheila, have you heard what a trombone is? No. What is a trombone? So simple. So a bloke put a ferret up his bum. Sid, are you joking me? No shit. I worked with a guy who could put a pool ball in his foreskin. What? Sharon, no more chocolate milkshake for me. We're going back into the realms of two girls, one cup there, aren't we, with the chocolate milkshake or the ice cream? How the hell can you put a pool ball in your foreskin? Hang on, did I miss the rusty trombone or have I read it? Hang on a minute, hang on. Where's Sheila? Oh, she's not answered us yet. So Frida's heard of a rusty trombone. I've not heard of a trombone. Pork Chop says, I asked you not to reveal my pool ball trick, Sid Vicious. Listen, I wouldn't be talking. If you could do that with a pool ball, it'd be bye-bye. Sheila, when someone is behind a guy with mouth to his bumhole and his arm around the front, giving him a hand shank. Oh, a reach around, you mean? I didn't know about the bumhole thing, but yeah. So he's got his mouth on his bumhole, giving him a reach around. Whoa. Sharon, I'd try if I had one. Lady Witch, rusty trot. You see, I don't know. Jules, how did we get here? I'm just. Should we blame Port? He's just put now. Why does this happen as soon as I turn up? Let's blame Pork Chop. I remember someone doing lots of 50p's in the foreskin and he kept the money. It's just, Jill, do you know what? It's what fascinates me is who thinks to do these things anyway? Who thinks to do these things? Is it boredom? Oh, what have I missed here? What's Sharon been putting? Oh, if you had a willy, you'd have a try of it. Why? Right, hang on then. Can we ask the gentleman in chat? How many of you have tried to either put coins, pool balls, or any other type of luggage in your in your foreskin? Because I'm really wanting to know now. Put shots of makeup. You said you didn't want the money back anyway. Lady Witch just shooting some pool with my mates. Hey, do you think this would work? I know, just why? I'll tell you what, Jules, I bet your headache's gone now, hasn't it, love? Where's Green Eyes when we need her? Kiss. A bit too warped for my liking. Yeah, it's too warped for me either. Simple. I put your 50p on the table. I tried a marble once. It's not supposed to much when I put my head in there to look for the marble. Sharon, I feel like I'm Lady Witch 8-ball side pocket. Oh, she's still here just trying to multitask. Sorry, chicken. I know that you... I was just thinking you're missing the terrible smuts. I think the Smutmeister came in and it just all went to Helena Hancock. Simples, how does that work? 50p is a big coin. Yeah, but Frida, so's a bloody pool ball, innit? Gandalf meets the wizard's sleeve. Oh, don't. I'm really trying not to cackle, but I'm not doing well. I gather you've eaten all your food then, have you, pork chop? No, I'm howling here listening. Well, listen, you need to ask John, has he ever used his foreskin as a carry-all? It's a bit like you get a man bag. Sticky Vicky. Yes, Sharon. Sticky Vicky indeed could. Sid Vicious, I used to put my glass eye there so I could see the PVA. Lady Witch, a different room of requirement. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and thing is though, Sticky Vicky was still doing that at a grand old age, and her daughters followed in her footsteps. But imagine that. That's your profession, and most women and men, they have a profession, and they train the child in the art of whatever it is they're doing, and they make a good living out of it. But then there you've got Sticky Vicky teaching her daughter how to stick a Christmas tree up a minge and fire bloody billiard balls out across an audience for 40 or 50 feet. She was about 90 simples. I went to Benidorm with my mates and we saw a daughter. It's just really bad. But I must admit, when I was in Thailand, I did see there was one of the one of the prostitutes or entertainers, shall we say, who was firing ping pong balls at people. And because when I watched for the very first time Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, I nearly died when I saw that woman firing ping pong balls out of her muff across the pub, because I was like, I was dead excited. I've seen that in Thailand. So pizza gone, wedges almost gone, onion rings waving at me so I don't forget them. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Mind when you put the leftovers pork chop. Yeah. I've heard of a midnight snack, Lady Witch, but that would be taking it slightly too far, wouldn't it? I'll just have to remember if I get peckish at night. Thank Crystal Ball Beryl isn't listening to this. Hi, all leaving to drive home from work. Hi, bedtime clown. Great to see you. Bedtime clown, hi there. Pot shot, waiting for Kiss My Ass to offer me somewhere to dip the rings. Yeah, dream on, sunshine. Might have if you were here, but as you're not, you've missed out on that one. Don't encourage him, Jules. Hula hoop onion rings. Okay, really. Oh, hi there, Kai Bailey. Sorry, as you may or may not be aware, that we sometimes do degenerate into filth on this channel. Once we've done the serious stuff, it all goes to Helena Handcart. You've come in just at that time, so it's just gone all Rudy talk and disgusting hilarity. So I apologise if you're easily offended or your sensibilities may be, but yeah, we rabble rouse last thing before the chat closes down. Is that? Oh, pretended. Oh. Do you know what? I thought you were telling a true story then, Sid. The channel has gone south. It did, Simples. It did. Poor chop, she acts all prim and proper, but if she was here, she'd have me stood against a wall to see if she could throw them all on. Well, actually, yes, I would do. I'm not being prim and proper at all. I'm just, I don't mind if you want to catch them all and then windmill them back at me. Feel free. You're not going to embarrass me, so try as you might. Actually, no, that's kind of like game on, hats off, and go for it. So no. Oh, that's good, Kai Bailey. Yeah. This all started, I'm not going to go back over it. However, this started because I didn't understand a dirty word, and I was telling the chat because I thought it was actually a place name. Onion flavoured cock rings. That doesn't sound very appetizing, actually, when you put it like that. Oh gosh. I don't think you should talk about food though, because I'm actually really hungry. I've got tummy rumbles. Oh grief. Well, I tell you what. Thanks. Oh, you didn't. You went there. You went there. Might start calling you Mr. Cheesy. Did you see the live stream of Traces of Nuts who went through the awful rabbit hole of AD Smule videos? I've not, Kai Bailey, and I'll be honest with you. We've kind of, I haven't had any involvement in any other channels for the last, well, over a month, really, isn't it, guys? I got so sick of all the drama and the sniping and everything else. We've just come on here. We do the history thing because we're all interested in history and whatnot. So we'll do history. We'll do a bit of paranormal. We'll do a bit of conspiracy theories and so on and so forth. And then we just have a good laugh. So yeah, I haven't seen anything. And I think most people haven't either. We just decided to give it all a swerve because it was getting so stressful. But I don't know who Smule is. There's a lot of people I don't know who they are though when they're mentioned. So I have to always ask these guys, who is it? Who's this? So pork chop, Lady Witch, it may be small, but you wouldn't like it as a wart on your nose. Sid says it may be small, but it can fill a pram. No, I don't want an onion ring wart either, Lady Witch. I have a fairly lengthy break from videos or lives, fine, but the other day saw Trace of Nuts, who did a good job of satirising those music attempts. Well, oh, Smule's a site. Okay, oh, thank you, Lady Witch. I didn't know. That I must admit, Kai Bailey, I did watch the one that he did, you know, the wishing everybody Merry Christmas, where he was taught, and I was just like, oh, you absolute freak of nature. So I did mention it in here, and a few of us were like, oh God, you're joking me. But like I said, other than that, to just laugh, I just stayed right away from it. And you know what? We found it's been so much, hasn't it been really easy going in here? Because I must admit, I was getting really, I didn't realise I was, but I was finding myself getting really wound up and anxious. So stepping away from it, I've just chilled right out. So yeah, we just come in here and we entertain ourselves, having a bit of a giggle. Pork Chop says, I always thought 3 inches was perfectly normal. I thought that most women like them that wide. You did get lost. Is this because you don't want me to say he's telling lies? Those spooners for a night where people can sing karaoke style by themselves and with others. He's uploaded a lot of those videos attempting to sing. Ah, well, you see, we should really... Oh, sorry, Sharon. Oh, I have to go to bed. Thanks, Evan, for the laugh. You're all wonderful. See you soon. Thanks, guys. Oh, no worries, Sharon, love. You take care. Have a good night's sleep. And see you on the next one. Well, yeah, he said he does singing. Oh, he's an absolute loon. He talks, and he even talks out of key as well. Should get my fella to do a... Hey, what do you think, guys? Should get Porky to do a sing-off with him. Can you imagine that? That would be funny. That would be funny. Frida said, they say here, the men who want to boast, it's like a child's arm. Yeah, there used to be a thing, didn't they? Well, here, they used to say it's like a baby's arm holding an apple. If you want to have a bit of a brag. We don't really talk about him, and it's great. Yeah, we just get giddy in here, don't we? Simples, talk about cooking, smut and Vikings. Not necessarily in that order either. You're going to do more lives in Norse matters or move on to other topics? Yeah, I'm doing a Norse series, going to do a Viking series because I want to go around the UK. We did the Northwest last night, going to do the North on the next one. But we do a Know Your Mods quiz. And I'm going to do one of those on Friday. It was really funny. So I just asked random questions about things I've picked up, about people in, you know, who come in the chat. And it was quite funny last week because I'm asking these questions and watching people trying to guess who they were about. But they were, they were very good. Sharon was the champion, and whoever wins, if they're a female, they are crowned the channel Skjalmir, which is Old Norse for Shield Maiden, for the week. Or if they are male, they will be crowned as the Sword Dane of the channel for the week. So, other than the kudos, you don't win anything else. But yeah. So I will be doing, but we do things like this. I wasn't going to come online tonight, and I thought, oh no, do you know what? I want to talk about giants, so I came on. But I was intending to come on Friday, and we're going to do a little bit more Norse. But I only do it for an hour, and then we're going to have a quiz, and then just a bit of a laugh like we're doing tonight. Pork chop. I go to sleep, and then an hour later, a kiss snapshot to get you cheeky mother. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, I said that. Yeah, Babby's arm holding an apple. You're right, Lady Witch. He can't keep it. No, I know. He's an absolute lunatic. Can't even talk in key or in time. These days, I tend to watch him only with commentary by other channels and otherwise avoid his lives. Yeah, do you know what? That's the best thing. Put chop, and if you win 3 week on the bounce, you were crowned curtain twitcher with no life. Yes, well, I did say that Jewel, because it was Sharon, wasn't it, who won last week? And when she was awarded the Skjalmir crown, I also said congratulations on being such a nosy bastard. I think it's better for one's mental well-being. It is, Kai Bailey, just, yeah. And as you can see, it's, yeah, we never stray, unless somebody asks something specific, we just don't stray on the topics in here. Yeah, and that's not being, snotty. It's just, it's been really nice not getting dragged into it for the past month or is it slightly over a month now? So are you all up for that quiz on Friday then? If I do, I'll get some more questions up. And obviously there'll be some, because, a lot of the people who normally come in, they're flitting in and out. They're not always in here all the time. So they're not necessarily going to be questions just about people who are in the chat on Friday. There'll be questions about everybody. I love topics, not as much as drifters, but I can't find them anymore. Was it top? Are they called topics anymore? Because if not, I think you're showing your age there. Do I know anyone who's? I read the runes, and I also read. There's like a Norse tarot that I do as well, but might be late. Our grandson is staying over. It's fine, Simples. That's fine. Well, I could always. What time do you think is best, everybody? Topics are still topics with the hazelnuts in. Well, that was a song. Do you remember that? What has hazelnut in every bite? Squirrel shit. Yeah, you all let me know what time is best for you, because obviously I'm aware that there are people in Australia and the people in America coming in. Because usually, as you know, I'll normally go online, anytime between 8 and 9. That's right, Simples. It was one of those songs you sang at school, wasn't it? Thought it was really funny. What time on Friday did you begin? It was 7:40 a.m. or thereabouts when I began here. Right, so that would have been 8:30. Yeah, that would have been 8:30. So, well, what do you think about if I try and do it 9 p.m. UK time on Friday? So that would mean you're probably nearer to 8 a.m. or just after where you are, probably about 10 past, 8:15. Oh, and we'd probably, you know, we usually chat for a little while anyway, but I'll do the Viking bit first, you know, so whether you want to listen to that or not, and then I'll do the little quiz after. It's not, don't get excited, because it's not of the same standard as Nobbington, because these are just funny questions I ask about different people who come in the chat. Sheila, did my weekly shop Fridays after work, but usually home and all put away by 8. Yeah, cool. That squirrel on FB on the bird feed. Yes. He goes to bed about 8:30. Right, okay. Well, if I say we'll do it 9 p.m. UK time, if that fits in with everybody else, and it gives like Kai Beeley and Green Eyes time to wake up or whatever. 8 a.m. Australia, so that'd be fine. Brilliant. And if that's okay, does that time suit you, Lady Witch? Bedtime, if you're still listening, if you, that is if you're wanting to be there. Do you know those? Yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's cool. Right then. Well, that's it. What I'll actually do then is I will tomorrow, or I might even do it tonight if I remember before I get myself sorted for bed. I'll schedule it for 9 p.m. on Friday, and then we can have a bit of a laugh and a giggle, and I'll do the North of England bit. So I'd probably say it's probably going to be for Quizzy. It'll probably be nearer to 10 p.m. our time here before the quiz starts. So if you don't want to listen to the Viking shizzle. Oh, is that okay with you too, Jules? Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Because there's no point me starting if all the important folks that you are can't get here, is there? Give me 1 second, please, guys. Gosh, laughing. I need to nip to the ladies' room to powder my nose again. So please give me 2 seconds. I'll be straight back. Chat amongst yourselves. Try not to get into any trouble, and don't let Pork Chop disrupt the room. The resident smutmeister. I'll be back in a sec. I'm back. Yes, you don't act innocent. I've just had visions of coming back to there being loads of disgusting words that nobody'd ever heard. The quiz, Kai Beeley, it's just things. I mean, I don't know if you've if you've listened to more of my lives before. I wasn't that far from the Lou Simples, and I don't do massive wheeze because I'm only little. But I've got a, oh God, I'm always needing a wee. Bloody nightmare. The quiz is just about the people in the chat. So like tonight you've come in, you know, and I don't know how much you heard, but I might ask a question if Simples had said something, or there you go, you know, because I just said don't let Pork Chop disrupt the chat because he's our our resident smutmeister. I might ask on the I won't do, but the questions I'd be is, who do I refer to as our resident smutmeister on the chat? So it's things like that. Oh, it's great to catch you live on a much needed holiday until Monday. Oh, well, I hope you come in and have a bit of a giggle with us all. Pork Chop, I'm innocent. I'm not a butcher. The name comes from when my daughter wanted to play Minecraft. I was Pork Chop and she was Lamb Chop. Or Lamp Chop. Yeah, so no, definitely not a butcher. Have I missed anything else out? I'd be happy if he was a butcher though, Sheila. Imagine that, getting like steaks to order. Maybe you should take up being a butcher. Meat on demand. Nor am I a baker nor a candlestick maker. Oh yeah, love a good steak, me simples. Cut its head off, wipe its bum and put it on my plate. A nice bloody steak, lovely. I think that's my my caveman origins coming out. My son used to play Minecraft, Pork Chop, along with Overwatch and World of Warcraft, if memory serves. Did you really just say you want meat on demand? Yes, I did. Oh, so you game as well, do you, Kai Bailey? I don't. So oh, hang on a second. I've just remembered some at Pork Chop before you vanish away. Sheila, I know, but his name is Pork Chops and he keeps mentioning liver, so I thought probably a butcher. No, he's just a dirty bastard, Sheila. Nothing on the bone for me, though. I don't do bones. No. Well, no, neither do I. Let me just... Yeah, you are just filth. But we all love you. Right, we need to ask you, Pork Chop, because... Was it simple? Oh, hang on a minute. Was it Simples who asked the other night, can you move Switch from one house to the other? Was that you, Simples? Said it was a gaming thing, and I went, I don't know, but if Pork Chop or Bedtime Clown comes in, because I know both of you guys do the gaming. So there you go. If you can answer that for Simples. Jules, right, good night, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, everyone in chat. Had a good laugh again. Oh, you're welcome, Jules. And if I don't see you before, I shall see you on Friday. Thank you so much for coming in. And I hope that your headache goes and you feel all right. Have a nice, relaxing evening, lovey. Get a good night's rest, and we'll see you, if not tomorrow, Friday. Because you never know. I might end up being having a couple of hours or so spare tomorrow evening and decide to just come on and talk shite again. You never know, you're looking a raffle. Take care, sweetheart. Night. Oh, is it Switch or Twitch? Simples. He's not bringing it anyway because he would have to take it to school first. Which one was it, Simples? Just for future reference, Switch or Twitch? Because Pork Chop knows his onions. Oh yeah, Switch. There you go. Just Sid, how's Nancy doing, love? I forgot to ask you when you came in. I'm sorry. That was really ignorant of me. Just hope she's all right. I used to play role-playing games, but that was years ago, and I liked text adventures like Zork, for example, which shows my age, I think. I've never done gaming. I've never done it. So I haven't got a clue what half of these games are. I know some of the names, but only because Pork Chops mentioned them. There you go, Simples. That's your answer. Yes, all you do is plug it into the internet at your new address, go to the Nintendo site. There you can re-register it at the new address. Oh, she's okay at the moment. Thanks for. Oh, I'm really glad, Sid. She's still at home with you, love. Fingers crossed she is. Pork Chop, my son has a Nintendo Switch and was showing me a game like Final Fantasy on it. I see. This is like talking Swahili to me. Haven't got a clue. Oh, great. Well, long may she stay there, Sid. I really hope that, love, because I know everybody in chat had been, wondering about her and worrying about her and hoping she was okay, and that you were all right as well, obviously. Because I think she was, when we had that very raucous live where everything went to hell in a handcart, she was still in hospital, wasn't she? Things will be a bit clearer in 6 weeks. Oh, well, we'll have 6 weeks of everyone in chat. Can I just ask that whatever you believe in, if you believe in God or gods or goddesses or the universe, can we all send some positive thoughts for Sid's Mrs. Nancy, please, over the next 6 weeks? The power of positive thought. I'm a firm believer in that, Sid. So it's all coming from everybody in the chat. We're all wishing you the very, very best of luck. And yeah, there you go, Lady Witch, Simples. Pork Chop, was the game called Xenoblade? I've got in Minecraft and a Lego game. He doesn't know yet, as we haven't done. Oh, of course, yeah, you didn't do Christmas because of the old the coronavirus, did you? Yeah, bless Nancy. Absolutely. Appreciate your positive vibes. You're very welcome, love. You're a well-loved member of the chat. Yes, Sid and Nancy forever, Pork Chop. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're a lovely guy, Sid, and and I've absolutely no doubt that Nancy is a wonderful person as well, if she's got a fella like you in her life. So, fingers crossed, positive vibes, lots of love. Yeah. That's what I like about this chat, and everyone's so nice. No, I mean it, Chuck. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I mean it. You've been nothing but pleasant and funny. So, you're a kind fella and interesting and entertaining. So, yeah, firm believer in this life, you get back what you dish out. So, good things for you. No gerbils either, says Simples. No. Listen, no matter how bored she's getting while she's recuperating, don't let her get a rolled up cardboard toilet roll and a gerbil as a gift for you, because you know what's coming. Just saying, not judging. She's already said she isn't that interested in felching, so there is no smoke blowing. What's that? Who, Nancy isn't interested in felching? Or are you talking about me? Well, for you and your loved ones, Sid. Thanks for that, Kai Bailey. God, I'm going a bit manic on this vape tonight. Since I started this live at, what was it, 8:30, I've done 4. No, it's not a big, it's only a little pen one, but I filled it up 4 times. When I first got it, I only filled it up once in a week. Just vape blowing. I don't. What's the oh dear for? Or have I missed? Am I being thick again? And you know, it's not smoke blowing. It is like Mick Simple said. It's vape blowing. Do you know what? I've just realised. I've stopped counting the days. Just as you said that, then it's like just vape blowing. It's the first time I thought today and thought I'm 12 days in. See, this is how I knew you weren't using your vape. It was still on its first charge and you hadn't refilled it. No, I had. It just wasn't. It holds a charge for ages. I'm not lying. But I wasn't using it as much. But for some reason, I've got more and more panicky about the not smoking thing. Now, whether it's because I'm relying on this more because it's easier than smoking. I don't have to keep lighting a fag and rolling a fag and what have you. So it's convenient, isn't it? You can't talk. I'm just using it more. So I'm obviously leaning on it more. Because the problem is that in the last 12 days now, I've put like 2.5 pounds on. So I'm obviously eating things I shouldn't be eating because I'm not smoking. Now you're spanking it, you'll use it more and more until you break the hand-to-mouth habit. Pork chop, handy to have spur vape. What type of material are you vaping, Kame? Nicotine. I know there are flavoured vapes, but I'm not really up on vaping otherwise. Well, at the minute, I've got the flavoured ones. I've got the ice menthol, which I'm nearly out of. I've probably only got one refill left of that, and it's my favourite one, and I don't want to use it all until I get another one. And the other one I've got is ice black currant, so that's the one I'm going on at the moment. And I don't know whether I'm hammering it more because it's the black currant one. It doesn't taste as minty. I don't know. But I seem to be going through this one faster than I was the mint one, if that makes any sense. But I'm new to vaping. I've only just my boyfriend got it for me before Christmas because I'd already said I was planning on packing in on the 1st of January. My New Year's resolution was going to be to stop smoking. So he bought me this one so that I'd kind of get used to it. But I wasn't really. I was using it a bit, you know, and like one day I'd have 3 fags in the whole day and the rest of it was a vape, and then I'd smoke. But yeah, as of the 1st, I haven't smoked since, you know, midnight on the 1st of January, just as it, you know, we all wished each other Happy New Year, and that was it. I haven't smoked since. Sid, I'm looking for a licorice vape juice. I have 2 just in case. And Pork Chop says, Sid Vicious, totally wicked, have a blackjack flavour. Sid, have a spur in my foreskin. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh, besides. God, I was going to ask the same thing. What's blackjack flavour? Is that a licorice one? Is it Pork Chop? Simples, don't be blowing on that one, kiss. No, I don't intend to. Pork Chop, Sid Vicious, is that the thing stashed behind the fire extinguisher? And the pile of 50 pences and the pool ball. Don't forget. Oh, it's blackjack licorice sweets. Okay. Oh, green eyes, I love licorice. I don't, because it just reminds me too much of me getting absolutely wankered on ouzo. And also, as everybody has done at some point, Pernod and blackcurrant. And there is actually still a stain on my auntie's driveway, my 78-year-old aunt, who has a lovely light driveway from when I was probably about 18, went round to my friend's house. Her mum and dad used to drink Pernod and Black all the time. So me and my friend were like, yeah, we'll have a Pernod and Black, we'll have a Pernod and Black. I was so sick, I cannot even tell you. I got out the taxi, walked up the driveway and vomited. And it was this like blackcurrant and Pernod all over the driveway. The stain is still there and it has never gone away. And then I got absolutely shit-faced on ouzo probably the year or two later in Greece. And no, I can't abide licorice since then. Said, no, that brings to mind all sorts of images. Well, Kai Bailey, we were talking about Sid apparently knows someone who can put a pool ball behind his foreskin. And then Simples knew, it was Simples, wasn't it, knew somebody who put a load of 50 pences under his and got to keep the money. So that's where the, the joke's coming from. Oh, you love oh. No, oh, no, I can't, I couldn't. Oh, Green Eyes likes it as well. Ew. Pernod vodka, blackcurrant and lemonade is a jelly bean. That just sounds like yeah, that just sounds like Vomit Central to me. Jelly bean was the first drink I vomited on. Said Vicious, if you were on a budget, go to 88vape.com. They have licorice available for just £1 each. Best pound I ever spent. Ouzo, our memories of Greece. Yeah, well, that's it, Frida. Although no bugger tells you that you get absolutely shit-faced off it. And the first thing you do the next day, because you're hanging, is you grab yourself a pint of water and you neck it, and you end up just as pissed at breakfast as you were the night before because of the reaction it has. What's that one? I don't know if Sid Vicious or anybody else might be interested in it. What's that one that you smoke, Pork Chop? The one that's absinthe and something, isn't it? That funny smelling one. Or is it just absinthe, or was it absinthe with something in it? Check that out, cheers, but also like the blackjack idea. Always have the pint of water and 2 paracetamol after a night out so I don't wake up with a hangover. Yeah, but if you do that after you've been drinking ouzo, it's a totally different story. You end up just as drunk. You think you're sober, the water kind of reacts with the ouzo. Oh my God. Pint of water, you're absolutely flying. And I did that 3 days running before I realised what was happening, and I've never touched it since. My husband spent time in Greece and has liked ouzo ever since. Quite like it too, but it's easy to have too much. It is. It is. Yeah, you've done it with ouzo, Green Eyes. It's fatal, isn't it? Sheila, can't stand the smell of it now, but it was years ago when I used to drink alcohol. Don't touch any nowadays. Put job, it's called Helston White, available from Totally Wicked. It's a mix of absinthe and a hint of menthol. It does smell quite nice, but I think the absinthe thing would have put me off. Have you ever drunk absinthe? Anybody? Cheaper version available called Helsenberg. Oh, Frida, yeah, I'm like a rag doll the next day. Pork chop. These says I don't need to drink alcohol. As many years ago, I did it a bit when trying to deal with chronic pain conditions. Ah, right, got you there. Don't think I'd had a drink for a couple of years, Sheila. Green eyes. I have. The green lady whooped my ass. Oh, because wasn't it absinthe that used to make people, if you drank it to excess, it would make you go blind? That was absinthe, wasn't it? Or was that if it was unpure absinthe? Because I know it's the same with pochine, isn't it? They have to burn it like moonshine. And if the flame's a certain colour, it's safe to drink. And if it's a different colour, then it's unsafe. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a drinker. I don't go out getting smashed or what have you. I have just as much fun being stone cold sober. But we did have a only a couple of little drinks on Christmas Eve. I had a glass of wine on my second Christmas day. But I just don't see the fun in getting drunk. I did all that in my late teens and my early 20s. Pork chop. My alcohol lessons were learned very young. I lived in pubs most of my life and saw the effects it had on people. So now responsible drinking. Yeah, well, that's the way, isn't it? You need to know when you've had enough. The only thing that I have to watch myself with is, although I don't get drunk off it, is Baileys. Baileys, I can drink and drink and drink that stuff. I love it. If I go up to my dad's, he gets, and we're talking very good bottles of single malt, like the expensive stuff that just tastes like cream going down your throat. And I have to watch myself with that, because me and him have gone through a bottle, in a couple of hours. A horror movie called From Hell. Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, Johnny Depp featured absinthe and laudanum, and I wondered what both were like. Yeah, that was for pain relief, wasn't it? It was very, very popular way to self-medicate in Victorian England. People make alcohol a taboo subject, and that usually makes kids want to do it more. Yeah. Well, I think we all at some point went raiding parents' drink cabinets, didn't we? You'd get the vodka out or the gin, and you'd top the bottle up with water to kind of disguise what you nicked. Because obviously that works, doesn't it? Yes, they did, Frida. They did drink it in Victorian times. Greenhouse, me too. Pork chop, lived in a few pubs in Oldham. Pork chop, yes, I grew up with rather dogmatically religious parents where there was no alcohol, and it just made the idea more attractive. Sid, they have a similar thing to pochine in Bulgaria called rakia. It's ridiculously strong. Drink water next morning, pissed again. Yeah, exactly the same principle with ouzo as well. Oh, pork chop. Is that the same with that stuff you were on about in where was it you? Oh, flipping heck. I've forgotten where it was you said. That's it, Silvervitz. Yellow flame is bad, blue flame is good. Well, is that sorry, Slivovitz or Vitch, or however you say it? Does that have the same? Sorry, do you get the same effect with that if you drink water the next day, that it gets you pissed again? I wonder if absinthe does it as well. It seems to be those very high alcohol concentrations. Or maybe it's just something that's contained in that particular blend of alcohol. See, we talk about alcohol instead of food tonight. Although we've done it in we've done it in a topsy-turvy way, didn't we? We've completely missed out the food, our food phase. Yes, I have an excellent book called Opium for the Masses by Jim Hogshire, and it gives details over how to grow Papaver somniflorum seeds and harvest this sap opium for pain relief. All right, okay. Black Russian. What's in a Black Russian, Frida? Don't know. I only ever saw the locals always pissed. That's how they avoided hangovers and reality stay drunk. Yeah. I don't think you sober up by morning on absinthe. Oh, yeah. You're being shouted at again on screen. Look, your name's appeared, Cooper. Listen. Yes, we know. Be quiet. I'm grown yet, but if I can't get to see a good pain specialist soon, I'm strongly considering it. Isn't salvia one of those as well? That can be used for pain relief, I think. Is it Salvia divinorum? Black Russian, vodka, Tia Maria, and Coke. Oh no, God, that sounds like a nightmare made in hell for me. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Frida, and put a chop. No, I couldn't. I couldn't do that. Coop, you'll get felched if you don't shut it. Not by me, you won't, Sid. There'll be no felching in this house of man nor beast. I think, yeah, Armageddon. Armageddon! That's why it's only an occasional one. It's the vodka with me, Frida. I can't go near it. Can't go near it. It's like loopy juice for me. You know, I was calling it Polish fighting fuel. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I've not got any in me, but I wouldn't have been surprised if I had some Polish blood in there somewhere, the way it affects me. He is too innocent for a felch. Brandy and Babycham. Oh, right. I'm going to tell you something here. Oh, it's a hallucinogen, not an analgesic. All right. Thank you, Kai Beale. Brandy and Babycham, when we very, very first started going, it's neither Brancy and Babycham nor Brady and Babycham. Yes, give up while you're ahead. You're obviously typing with dick fingers tonight. Nick a drop it, yeah. Well, when I very first started going out drinking with my friends, and we were underage, obviously, so we used to go out. Her sister was, I think she was about 18 years older than we were. So we used to go out with her, and because of that age difference, and she was saying, "Oh, if ever a fella asks you," fingers are not even near the keyboard. And she used to say, if a fella offers you a drink, ask him to get you Brandy and Babycham, because she said it's the most expensive drink in the club, and if they buy you that, then they're worth letting you take them. You know, you're letting them take you out again if they ask you. So that's how I was introduced to Brandy and Babycham. You know, fellas offering you a drink, I go, I'll have a Brandy and Babycham, please. It was bloody horrible. So I don't know if that was a universal way of telling if a man was worth letting you or taking you out again, or if that was just what they did around St Helens. Let us know how you get on. Very interesting natural cures and things like that. Well, if your finger's out near the keyboard, what are you typing with your nose? Pinocchio. These days it's a creep, Meg. Oh, Kai Bailey, don't ask. Felch, please don't. Oh, talk to text. Okay, I'll let you off. We used to get kangaroo in a picture. What's that? Cooper, don't do it. Don't. No growling, please. A good boy. Come on, lie down. Come here with your mummy. Come here. Yeah, kangaroo. I don't know what that is. That a type of a drink? I'm presuming it is, with you getting it in a picture. Cider Pernod lemon. Oh, God, no. Stop. I have to try to get the tiny, rather stony ground in the backyard suitable for any planting first to find a spot away from extremely nosy neighbours who are annoying. That's the problem, Simples, isn't it? When stuff tastes like pop and it just goes down too quickly. You see, Prosecco is like that. It's just like slightly alcoholic fizzy pop, and before you know it, you've gone through 2 or 3 bottles and you're absolutely lathered. Pernod cider and black currant red witch. Oh yeah, I used to work in a pub, and I can remember people coming in asking for a red witch, and I didn't know what it was. Somebody else served them a green monster lager, cider, and blue. I never know. Is it blue curacao? Is that how you pronounce that? You see, I used to like doing, you could get the shooters, like a B-52, things like that I used to really like. And things like an orgasm, because that is, let me have a think now, it's amaretto, Bailey's, and Tia Maria. Oh, Curacao, thank you. Green it sounds like a monster of a drink, that. I don't think well, like I said, cider's not my thing anyway. Never was, ever. People would buy snake bites. I know what that is. That was when I was at university. People were always drinking like pints of snake bite because they banned that in a lot of the local pubs because it was cheap and it got people really drunk very quickly. Badger, half a Guinness and a bottle of Smirnoff Ice. Now that's just wrong. You shouldn't mix anything in with a Guinness. Have you drunk that? You're showing your prowess as a top barman there. No, I'm not. I do like, if I'm on holiday, a very popular drink, right? Okay. I just think it's criminal to mix anything in with a Guinness. I do like, if I'm on holiday, if I'm, Mediterranean holiday, because I used to go to Greece an awful lot. I used to love cocktails, and the old-fashioned ones as well. Like a pina colada. They're really nice, and I do like those. And I would be inclined to drink one again. We used to have people drinking the alcohol gel at the bottom of the beds. Oh gosh, in the hospitals, really? Cheeky Vimto. Oh yeah, I knew what a Cheeky Vimto was. One of my best friends, that's her favourite drink. Black Velvet, Guinness and champagne, half and half. Oh, is that nice, Sid? I like, I like the taste of Guinness. All the porters. It's Lush, is it? Oh, okay. I'll be honest, I'm not a great lover of champagne. I was given a bottle for my birthday a couple of years ago, and it sat in my kitchen until end of July this year. And then I had my girlfriends all came round, and we had I did as a Spanish meal out in the garden. We sat outside, and I decided, you know what, I'll crack this, because I bought bottles of sangria and they're all getting pleasantly pissed in the back. And I thought, you know what, this bottle of champagne has sat here and not been drunk. And so I got it out and I poured everybody a glass of it. And I didn't even finish mine. I gave it to somebody else. Yeah, it was a song, wasn't it? Black Velvet. Was it Alana Miles? Was it? Who sang that? I think. I won't even try. I'll sound like a complete strangled cat. What else have I missed? Oh, you're talking about those plants. So, what time are we on now? Oh, 20 to 12. 25 to 12. Yeah. I'll just keep an eye on the clock, because I have a habit, as you all know, of chatting away and then suddenly realising it's like 1:45 in the morning and I'm up at 6. It will help me. There's nothing wrong in that. Yeah, it's like cannabis, isn't it? You know, the cannabis oil now. That I watched a video, and there was a guy who had skin cancer, and it was in America, but he couldn't get this particular cannabis oil, and he went somewhere like all right, Sheila, love. Night, God bless, and thank you very much for coming in, honey. As always, thank you. Yeah, well, this cannabis oil, he went somewhere, like I think he went to Mexico or somewhere, and he bought this cannabis oil and he brought it back, and he started putting it on this skin cancer on his nose. And night night, lovey, night night, you sleep well. See you on the next one, chick. And he videoed it every day, and he took well, sorry, not videoed, he made a video. It was like a slideshow of photographs he took every single day of putting this cannabis oil on the skin cancer, and it had been confirmed skin cancer by the doctors. So he was putting it on, and then he took photographs every day, and you watch this slideshow. So it looks like this oily, greasy stuff, and he put it on, and then it looked like his skin had gone black. But he did explain on the video, and he said it's not black, it's like the cancer cells coming out, you know, that the oil was kind of extracting this blackness, which he said is actually the cancer. And it was after, I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks or so, and after using this on a daily basis, and I can't remember how many times a day he did it, the skin cancer had completely gone. And this guy was trying to get it legalized, because he's saying, you know, the medical companies don't want you to know how beneficial the cannabis plant is. He said, we're not just talking about smoking it, it's all the benefits from this plant. And the big pharma companies don't want people to know, you know, do them out of their income. But it was fascinating watching what had happened. Let me go back up here. Gin, cherry brandy, Benedictine with pineapple juice, lime juice, Angostura bitters, and topped up with sparkling water. Oh, what's that called, Pork Chop? I'm just having a look. I think I would like, so long as it depends what proportion or what percentages of each go in, because I have tried Benedictine. I did not like the taste of it. But if there wasn't that much of it, but yeah, gin, definitely cherry brandy. My nan used to drink that. Oh, a Singapore sling. Okay. Oh, I might fancy trying that at some point. I've not seen the new Dexter series, Sid. I heard it was coming back. I used to love Dexter. Fraser's Pork Chop, did you work in a bar? Lived in pubs from 5 years old until 40. In Australia, the legislation has restricted any THC items. So one has to jump through bureaucratic hoops and pay thousands a month to be able to use a few items on prescriptions. Oh, right, okay. Frieda, I knew there was a connection, but ha ha ha. So is Pork Chop now Mr. Sexy Porky? No, we've just gone to calling him Porky now, Simples. I don't want to embarrass him with too much flattery, you know. I thought you were in here last night, honey. And Sid as well, but yeah. Yeah, we could call him Porky. Worked with a man who had a cannabis spray prescribed by his doctor. Okay. Oh, of course you did. Of course, yes, of course you did have a headache. I forgot about that, honey. Sorry. Yeah, I couldn't remember if you'd gone off beforehand. Pork Chop, you know a lot about various beverages. Yeah, he does, Kyberia. He was just saying then he lived in pubs from being 5 years old up to 40. So yeah, it was only because Simples, I wasn't going to say anything, but I kind of had slipped up in the chat a night or two previously and hadn't realised I'd done it. So Pork Chop had said, he'd sent me a text message mid-live saying, I thought he was talking about something else. It completely passed me by. I thought he was talking about, you know, when I was saying to you that we were going to, well, I was going to take him somewhere and it was going to be a surprise. I thought he was on about that. And he just said, why don't you just say it before you slip up anymore? And I thought it was that. But it wasn't. It was basic because I'd kind of let it slip that Mr. Sexy was actually him and hadn't realised I'd done it. So yeah, so that's why I came out yesterday, because I'm no good at telling fibs or being deceitful. It's not in my nature. I'm not good. And you've got to have a great memory to be a good liar, and I'm not. I've got neither. But always beneficial knowing what goes in a drink to establish if someone is a cheap date or not. Let's have it. In the old Belfast. Oh, do you know, Frieda, I had a cracking night out in Belfast. Well, a couple went for a long weekend. It was brilliant. Wasn't what I thought it would be, you know, because I've been to Southern Ireland, obviously quite a lot. Always went to Dublin for St. Patrick's. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't think, because obviously, as you know, my dad did a couple of tours in Northern Ireland in the 70s. I think he did one in the 80s as well, I think, but definitely in the early 70s. So obviously I'd heard his stories about Belfast, and I was thinking, oh God, I don't want to. But I went, and we had such a good time. We had really, really good night out. It was great. But I do like the south of Ireland. Quite a few places in the south that I still want to get to that I haven't been. I'd love to go to the Ring of Kerry. Looks so beautiful. I don't know if anybody's in chat has been there. And one of the reasons was that I used to have a Clydesdale horse. If anyone knows what a Clydesdale is, the kind of like the Shire horse, very placid, absolutely gigantic things. He was lovely. He was called Major, so gentle, but I had to get step ladders to get onto him. And I looked like a pea on a drum when I was sitting on his back, but he was beautiful. And somebody I worked with went on a 2-week holiday to Southern Ireland, and they went to the Ring of Kerry to tour around that area. and part of this this holiday involved, they did a ride while they were in the Ring of Kerry on horseback, and it was on Clydesdales. And I thought I'd love to do it. And they hadn't got any experience of horse riding, and they said these horses were so placid and quiet, and they said it was just a totally different way of seeing the landscape. So I would love to do that again. Well, do that at all, because I've not done it, but I'd love to go back to the south of Ireland again to do that. And I'd also like to go and visit the village where they filmed The Quiet Man, because that's my favourite film of all time, the one with John Wayne in it. Saggers, welcome and fuck off. Blocked. Always get one. Are you girls shaved? If not, you should be. Actually, would any of the bedtime caught me at a stoplight? Good grief. I noticed he didn't ask if any of the men were shaved. Obviously not that interested. Sorry, which is one of the many reasons I most want to move to the UK. You can get citizenship as his dad was born in Durham and served in the British Army. Oh, cool. Pass through Cork. Belfast is brilliant. So many different pubs, restaurants here now. When was the last time you were here? Oh gosh, it was. I'm losing track. Where are we in now? 2022. It would have been 10. I think it was 10 years ago. 2012, I think. Hang on, I've got to think now. Yes, it was. Yes, it would have been 2012. But it was. We had a great time. I loved it. Potjob. I remember asking a girl if I could get her a drink. She said, "I guess I'll have a Cosmopolitan." I said, "Guess again." Why, is that an expensive one? It was at that time, yeah. What was have you said what was in a Cosmopolitan? No, people don't realise how lucky we are with the NHS, but the problem is, again, it's NHS, and you know the clues in the name: National Health Service, not International Health Service. Oh, no, I agree. I'm not going to be on much longer myself, Green Eyes, but yeah, I'm going to say night, ladies. I need to nip out for smokes. Have a good night. All right, you too, lovely, and I will. I'll see you on the next one. Lemon vodka, triple sec, cranberry juice, and lime. No, again, that also sounds a bit. Lemon vodka. Ooh, is that like limoncello? I don't know what triple sec is, and I don't like cranberry juice. So don't worry, I won't ever be asking for a Cosmopolitan. My friend Laura said she's just got into drinking espresso martinis. She discovered those over Christmas. Flick wings pork chop from Green Eyes. Medicare and pharmaceutical benefits scheme subsidises certain medications. Yeah, with triple sec in orange. Oh, well, I couldn't have that then because I'm allergic to oranges. If there's any kind of orange oil or essence in there that's come from real oranges, I couldn't have it. Well, I could, but I'd be falling over. Flat out. Like a lizard drinking. Well, I must admit that that dirty beggar who came in, that's the first time we've been hit in here, which is quite good, isn't it? We're lucky, really. Frida Green Eyes. Sorry, forgot it's not night in Australia. Have a good rest of the day. Oh well, she was obviously wishing us night night. Wasn't it nice though having her up on panel last night, Frida? All getting to hear the dulcet Oldham tones when everybody thought she was going to come on speaking in an Aussie accent. Used to like the occasional Jack Daniels and Coke in my first year of uni a long time ago. Well, when I was at uni, there was a thing for people drinking. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten what the name of it is. Pork Chop can probably help me with this. It was the beer that had the. She was Frida. She was brilliant. It was like the metal. It had a stopper in it, metal top. God, I can't remember the name of the damn things. You had to pop the top off it. Bottles of beer. I've drawn a complete blank. I can see them because Grolsch. Thank you. That was it. And they worked a way out when I was in halls of residence that first year. They worked a way out of getting those whole, the whole lid and everything off. Thanks, Sid. Yeah. Brosettes used the tops on their shoes. Well, what they were doing at uni was you every time you drank a bottle of Grolsch, you got the lids off and they were nailing them to the doors on the halls of residence. So at the end of the term, you'd count up who had the most Grolsch bottle tops, and you paid a bit in, like 50p or something into the kitty, because the alcohol was so cheap in the students' union anyway. He is a flipping expert, Frida. He's an expert on virtually everything. And you'd all drop dead if you knew what his IQ was. I thought I had a high one, but obviously not. I could sell those for £2 each. It was only £1 for the big. Oh, is that what they were paying for them? £2 each for a top? You'd have made a killing at Bristol University going around the halls of residence there and ripping off all the tops off all the doors. I could, when I was at uni, I could absolutely sink the alcohol. Absolutely disgraceful thinking the amount of money that I threw down my neck. And I wouldn't mind. I didn't actually like the taste of it. £2 for the tops, one for each boot. Good grief. But you had a hefty bank account. Del Boy, yeah. He does drive a little yellow three-wheeler. True story. What else have I missed? Nothing. Oh, I like some ciders. There's a nice elderberry cider I used to enjoy. I've never been a cider lover. Yeah, Del Boy. Off Only Fools and Horses, they'd flog anything to make a bit of money. That's what Frida's calling him, Del Boy. If he's trying to sell the tops off Grolsch bottles at £2 a pop when the beer is only £1 a bottle. Play it nice and cool, son, nice and cool. You know what I mean? Do you remember when was it him and Trigger, and they went to the yuppie bar? They were going to pick up a couple of yuppies, and they were trying to pretend that they were well-to-do. And he went to put his elbow on the bar, and the barman had walked through it before, and he went flying. No, I've never liked the taste of cider. I love mead. Oh, wow. Oh, is that what he's? Oh, right, okay. I remembered the line. I just didn't remember where it was from. But yeah, when he fell through the bar. Oh God, I remember watching that. I was crying. I could drink like at uni, but my metabolism was much better than it is now. Yeah, it doesn't it scare you when you think how much you used to actually drink at university or college, or school for some people, or even just when you first hit 18 in the UK, and well, some of us went earlier, but well, I must admit, I did the same thing. I was in halls of residence and I was just arseholed every night. So the second year, I went and I did a house share. But the problem was that I was the only girl in the house. There were five, like they were all on my, they were the guys that I was doing my studies with, my course. But um, there was me and these guys, and they were absolute pigs. They lived like pigs. You could tell they'd been used to the mums doing everything for them. They didn't wash a pot, and I think they thought there's a female in the house, she'll do the housework. So they never hoovered up, they never wiped anything down. I don't think in all the time I was there, I ever saw any of them clean their own bedding. They were absolute filthy pigs. One of the lads, well, I went on strike because I was just like, I'm just not absolutely not going to clean this kitchen up and wash people's pots because you're dirty and you need to do it yourself. So what they did was they literally threw all the crockery away, literally all of it, rather than do the dishes. And they used to go down to the flea market of a Sunday and buy secondhand new pots, new plates and cups and everything. And this was every weekend. And they'd go and buy fresh and throw them all out again on the Saturday and then go back and buy more at the flea market rather than washing up. I think they were just being smart asses. And one of the lads, he did start to wash his pots up because I think he was thinking, I'm actually throwing good money away here. But he used to, when he had a bath, he was a filthy pig. You know those like those plastic like a tray, the soap trays that you could use to put across your baths, that you'd put your soap and your flannel and whatever else in. So he'd eat his tea in the bath and he'd rest his plate on that and he'd eat his tea. And then while he was still sitting in the bath water, he'd wash his plate in the bath water, regardless of what he'd eaten. So he might have had bean juice on it or gravy, or it was a dirty bugger. So yeah, I soon came out of that house. Yeah, Lady Witch makes mead. I've made mead in the past. Cassius is starting. He's going to have a go at making mead. My partner later became a husband. It was so good to be out of shared student accommodation. Oh, it was my idea of hell, my absolute idea of hell. And the thing is, all of these guys now are in, well, I won't say which profession because I'm not going to dox myself, but they are absolutely minted, very respectable, very well thought of. And I feel like saying to people, when I come across them, that dirty bugger, I shared a house with him or him or him for a year. Well, not quite a year. And they were slovenly as out. I've asked my son if he wants to make mead. He's asleep at the moment. Has a sleep disorder where he sleeps for ages, then he's awake for ages. I'm like that, but mine isn't a sleep disorder, Kai Bailey. Mine is just that I've got an overactive brain. I can't, if I've got things to do, I can't shut my brain off. I wish I could, but I'll lie there awake for hours trying to, and I'll try and I'll listen to thunderstorms or waves crashing on a beach and things like that. You can get the on YouTube just to try and go to sleep. I listen to ASMR. Pork chop. Did you know? Oh gosh, hiccuping. Sorry. Did you know at one point pigs were used in the fermentation process for scrumpy cider? Not all the floating particles were bits of apple. What? What? Oh, do you mean as in it? That they let them eat them. They picked out the apples at the other end, or they used pig carcasses. I didn't know this, pork chop. And obviously, when I was calling my former housemates filthy pigs, it was no detriment to yourself and your screen name. Oh, I'm just waiting for the answer to this one. I like to keep my environment eat and have. Hypothesis of the major issue with shared accommodation was the noise from other students. All right, okay. Cooper. So the whole thing, once there were only bones left in the vat, the scrumpy was ready to drink. Are you kidding? I'm actually glad I've never liked drinking cider then, or scrumpy, or any other of its forms. That's disgusting. Oh. Although, which you probably already know, what's the name? There's that coffee, isn't there? I've got to think where it is now. Is it a South American brand of coffee? It's incredibly expensive. That was during the war years when fermentation process needed help. Oh gosh. And there is a type of coffee that they feed the coffee beans to. I think, is it a wolf or something? Oh, there you go. Simple said it, a civet. Yeah, and they feed the coffee beans to it, and then they shit it out, and then people pay extravagant amounts of money to have that, to have those coffee beans. Bedtime plan. Actually, that would be really good, pork chop. When I smoke a brisket, I inject it with apple juice, and it turns out so well. It's delicious. Oh, do you know, bedtime clown? I keep saying I'd love to have a smoker. You know, like have a smoker in the garden, or like a clay oven or something. Because one of my work colleagues, he's just bought a house. Well, no, he's been in it nearly a year now. Him and his wife bought a house up at Poulton Le Fylde, which is like north of Blackpool. And the first thing he did was build his own clay oven in the garden, because he had a huge garden in this house. So, and yeah, he's constantly sending us photographs into work, you know, showing us he's done this, because it's a clay oven, but it's also got a bit of a part of it's into a pizza oven. So he'll send us photographs of, you know, the pizzas he's cooked in this clay oven, and you know, the meats and steaks and joints and everything that he's cooked in there. I would love to have a smoker. Oh God! And is it as nice as it's purported to be, Simples? Because I often thought, when I saw that, I was thinking, is that you know, is it just one of those fads, or years later they started handing bacon joints in the fermentation areas wrapped in muslin, and this would give the bacon an apple taste. Oh gosh, even I'm not knowing about some of this stuff. Never drank scrumpy cider though, thank goodness, now after hearing that. Yes, Frida. My stepdad still ate bread and dripping until about 2 years ago. My granddad, it always had bread and dripping. Oh, you didn't have any? Was it really expensive to buy it, Simples? Oh, bedtime. I need to build another one for me and VQ. I miss my old one. Well, you'll be handy at building it, won't you, with your welding expertise and machining expertise? I've never had smoked brisket, partly as I grew up in a home where there was no pork products. It took until leaving home for uni when my husband introduced me to bacon. I couldn't live without bacon in my life. Smoky bacon is my favourite. I did go vegetarian for a short while, and that was one of the things I really missed was bacon. Yes, I remember my mum telling my granddad ate bread and dripping. Yeah, it was very popular, very Irish as well. That's my girl. Yeah. I did. Do you know what? Till I saw your comment, I didn't. Yeah, I should have known you'd take that way. Never mind. Oh, bacon butties, I know. Pig trotters for my stepdad on a Friday tea time. Now I can remember. I can remember my nan. Oh, what happened there? I think I hit a button. Have I just blocked somebody by mistake? Are you all still here? I nearly dropped my phone and something came up that I'd blocked somebody. Yeah, I can remember my nan buying pig trotters. I never tried them, thank goodness. Have you ever tried them though? Kabila, that would be a beef brisket, but you can do the apple juice trick with like a pork loin in a Dutch oven or a slow cooker, and it's delicious. Try it with vinegar and black peas on a Monday. These are a lot of things my granddad had. He would have, get this as well, Irish working class tea. My nan on a Friday would go down into town to the fishmongers, and she always used to bring my I can remember this as a little girl. She used to bring my granddad back a pint of oysters, and he would have a pint of oysters on a Friday, because obviously Catholics, and it was, you know, you couldn't have meat, but he'd have fish in some way, shape, or form. Oh yeah, of course, because you're vegetarian, aren't you, Sid? Yeah, corned beef. Oh yeah, tatty hash is one of my favourite meals. Pork chop. Ate pig's feet when I was a child. Couldn't eat them now. Oh, did you? I'll tell you what I did try though, Frida. What my friend's husband is a chef, and I went round for a meal a couple of years ago, and he decided he was going to do a huge, you know, he was setting up these pop-up kitchens. So basically, we were being his guinea pigs. He was trying his menu out on us, and one of them were pig cheeks. So I was just like, oh no, I mean, I ain't eating that. And he said, please, please, trust me, try it. And I think it was a thought of it being pig cheek, and I didn't think I would like it. I tell you what, it was one of the nicest flavored tender meats I've ever eaten. But I don't know where I could get it from. I mean, I suppose there's a specialist butcher. I could ask them for the pig cheek, because I've never seen it in a shop. But I can thoroughly recommend, if anybody has not tried pig cheek, try it. It's not as hanging as you think. Pork chop, corned beef hash to die for. Oh, that's worth knowing. I do a good corned beef hash. We need a new cooker for any decent slow cooking. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a pescatarian. Yeah. Frida, so many strange things people used to eat that the EU make it now impossible to eat. Well, they've not got any say over what we're eating anymore, have they? Frida, to this day, my mum doesn't have any pork products. She raised us 6 kids. I'm the eldest and hence had the most restrictive diet, with only lamb chops, chicken, and fish. Frida, yeah, they're on posh menus now. I was really surprised, Frida. I was really surprised. It's the same. The other thing as well. Now, I couldn't try this for love nor money. I just couldn't have done it. But what they call it was cod tongue, but it's not, because they don't have a tongue, do they? It's kind of like the meaty bit at the back of the throat, and they also do cod cheeks as well, which is it's more like a scallop. But the tongue thing I couldn't have. Apparently, there's a membrane, and you cook that very similar to a scallop. I will admit my very favourite meat, though, is lamb. I love it. If I could afford to eat lamb every day of the week, I would. But I'd have to have bacon butties as well. But yeah, I could live off bacon and lamb. I'm coming home once there was a sheep's head on the table on his plate. Oh, do you know? Did you ever watch the film Angela's Ashes? And they, I don't know if anybody's seen that. Well, some of you will have seen the film, and it was a true story, and it was based in Limerick. Was it like the 1930s, I think? And they'd had to get a docket because they were poor. They'd had to get a docket from the St Vincent de Paul so that they could get something from the butcher's for Christmas dinner. And all that the butcher gave them was a sheep's head. So she'd boiled it up and it was there on the table, and the dad ate the eyeball out of the sheep because he was saying it was the best bit. I was like, oh God. He's taking the Mickey bedtime clown because chickens don't, because he's a vegetarian. Chickens don't have lips. I'll tell you what, Sid Vicious is giving Porkchop a run for his money on the Fast and Furious quips. What you did miss, though, bedtime clown, is tricks that gentlemen can do with parts of their anatomy that we ladies do not have. Sid Vicious has it. Yeah, it's hen teeth fries. That's right. Sid Vicious keeps a spare vape in his bit. Yeah, Kai Bailey, I like steak rare, but if I do lamb, I'll slow cook it for hours until it just falls apart. Yeah, the dirty buggers. Well, we don't want to know if you, unless you want to get into a kind of man chat. But yeah, I think a good steak should be eaten rare, in my humble opinion, my preference. I asked the butcher if he had a sheep's head. He said, no, it's just the way I comb my hair. But ching, he's here all week. Lamb should almost melt in the mouth. Yes. Yeah. If I do that Greek dish I was talking about in here the other night, I'll start that. That'll all be prepped the night before, and I'll marinate it. And then it all goes in. Well, I can do it in the slow cooker or the oven. If I do it in the oven, it'll go in at about 8 o'clock in the morning with the intention of eating it at 7 or 8 o'clock that night. So I'll slow cook it for at least 12 hours. It's making me flipping hungry as well. But I wasn't able to chat because I was either driving, working, or didn't have my earbuds in, but I heard you reprobate. Yeah. Well, I kind of ashamed myself, didn't I? Because I didn't have a flipping clue what certain words meant. And that just started us once again on a full-on downward spiral. Oh, sorry about this. I'm just making myself another brew. Pork chop. I went to the fishmonger with a 4-foot condom over my shoulder. I said, a pound of fillet. He said, £5. We're supposed to say that in an English out. A pound of fillet. £5 you don't. I think I must admit, Frida, I wouldn't nearly called you Tina then for a minute. I don't know why that. I think tonight's, although it wasn't quite as funny as last week, I think tonight's was probably about as degenerate as I think a channel could go. Because we really did discuss some bloody minging things. Nancy calls her dildo a quorn. It's a meat substitute. That's a good one. Did you make that one up? Or is it the truth? Or shouldn't I ask? Get yourself a fleshlight and call it Linda McCartney. What's a right? I'm really sorry. What's a fleshlight? Is that a sex toy of some sort? And I am asking because I don't want to appear the ignoramus that I am. Does she know you're making these jokes though, Sid? That's the question. It's a substitute woman up. Oh, a minge. Okay, I can finally finish my journey home. If you get off before I can say goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Good to see you. Well, you never know. We might still be here because there's still 10 people either watching and or in chat. So until everybody starts to jump ship, because I'm actually wide awake at the moment. Yes, the clunge. I love that word. The in-betweeners have a lot to answer for. You bus wankers. Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry, bedtime as well. Give my love to VQ, please. Tell her we've missed her. Hope she's okay. Right. Sorry about this. You're going to hear a bit of stirring of spoonage. Oh, and a rattle of sauce bottles. Oh, guess what I found? I nipped to the shop. Yeah, drive safe, bedtime from Pork Chop. I have been having to make do with HP brown sauce for ages because it's the only one I could find in the shop. And yesterday, the shop was selling daddy sauce, which is my favourite. And I've got a great big bottle. Just wanted to share that with you because as I opened the cupboard, I saw my daddy sauce on the top shelf. That's my favourite brown sauce on the planet. So I'm a happy girl now. Stop right there. Oh, that's like a Cher thing. Stop right there. I want to know right now. Make do. Yeah, it's not my favourite, HP. I like it, but it's not my favourite. Daddy's sauce is my favourite. I grew up with, I suppose it's what you grow up with, isn't it? That's what I grew up with. And I don't think if you have proper homemade mash, yes, daddy sauce is the best. It is, Frida. Thank you. Thank you. But if you're making proper, good, traditional, creamy mash with loads of butter in it and milk and got to be daddy sauce on it. Oh, God. I've messed up my flipping vape. I can't turn it on. Bloody thing. Gotcha. Oh, let me have a little look. And also, if you're doing corned beef hash, it's nicest with daddy sauce on it. Brown and tomato. See, I don't like tomato sauce, Frida. I hate the stuff. I don't know why, because I like, was it? I thought it was Cher. Oh, well, there you go. Sorry. I'm showing my ignorance. I don't know who Ellen Foley is. I swear I thought that was Cher singing. But yeah, I like fresh tomato, you know, kind of juice if you have it on a breakfast. And what's the other thing as well? Like tomato puree and things, but actual tomato ketchup, no. And the only time I ever use tomato ketchup, I don't even do it now because Cooper doesn't roll in shit, but my old dog used to always roll in fox shit. He'd find it, a tiny blob the size of a 5 pence piece of fox shit in a 900-acre field. He'd find it and he'd roll in it. And the stink coming off him. And a girl I used to speak to in America, because I was on a forum one time asking anybody, did they know what would get rid of the smell of fox muck? Because the stink is just, if you've ever had a dog that's rolled in it, you understand what I'm talking about. No matter how many times you shampoo them, you think the smell's gone. And an hour or so later, you get the lovely aroma through the house. And she said, over here, when our dogs roll in skunk muck, we use tomato ketchup to get rid of it. So you shampoo the dog and then you put tomato ketchup on and you rub it all in and you shampoo it again and it brings the smell out. So that's the only time I'll use tomato ketchup. Liam Perrin's Worcester sauce on top of cheese on toast. Yeah, unless it's forgotten to be put on. Frida, oh, Kiss Chat, going to head into bed now. Thank you, Kiss, for a great live. Enjoy all your company as usual. Thank you so much for coming in, Frida. We love having you, as always. You're always here and really appreciate it. You sleep well and hopefully we'll catch you on Friday. Going to try and do it at 9 p.m. on Friday night. We'll do the quiz, do another mod quiz for a bit of a laugh after we've done the Viking stuff. And I'll keep that pretty short. So I don't know if you'd heard before, Sid, we'll do a bit of a quiz. It's just a mod quiz on Friday night. Know your mods. Sheffield have Henderson's. It's like Worcester sauce. Oh, it's lush on cheese on toast. There's also... oh, sorry, got a dark too sweet. I'm needing 10 minutes. All right, baby. Love you. Needy. I'll see you tomorrow. Simples. So yes, we've lost Frida. We've just lost it pork chop. Bye, Felicia. There's a channel I follow called The Lodge Guys. They are in Florida at the moment. They spotted a shop selling posh burgers called artisanal burgers. Oh yeah, Kai Bailey says night night pork chop. Yeah, there's Worcester sauce. There's that one that you were on about, and then there's also the Lancashire sauce, and that is delicious if you put it in with a filling for pies. Let me see what I've missed. Fresh tomato or slightly cut tomato with a sprinkle of rosemary is nice beside mashed potatoes, crispy bacon, scrambled eggs, and toast. Artie's anal burger. Oh, flipping heck. What have I missed? What have I... Don't forget to oh yeah, no problem. Will do after I've come off the live. Make everybody mods. What else? I don't think I've missed anything else. Nope, we're okay. Gosh, well, Porky's going late on his street. He does all these gaming things, so I think he'd said he was playing till about 4 o'clock this morning. So I think tomorrow's probably going to be, or he'll probably be on the same again today, maybe. And I think I'll probably get off in 5 minutes because it's It's 12 here, and I'm up at 6 a.m. So although I feel wide awake, I like channels that cover travelling and visiting historical and other sites. Oh, hang on. Couldn't move. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it was a good laugh last week, Sid, the quiz. Just a little bit of fun, a bit of light-hearted merriment. Making much needed coffee as I listen. Yeah, it's I've not had any coffee today because I thought that might be keeping me awake as well. You've been watching Vegas blogs on YouTube. What have I been watching recently? Well, today obviously I was watching things on Giants because I suddenly decided to do an impromptu live, but I love watching Casper Sight, as you all know. I love his. I think he's just uploaded one as well, so I might watch that when I get into bed. See if I nod off to that. And what's the I'll tell you another one that's really good. It's called True Crime South Africa. And it's a lady, she just narrates, so you can actually listen to it with your eyes closed. If you like true crime, and she talks through different crimes that have occurred in South Africa. And they're not just recent ones, they could be unsolved crimes, solved crimes going back decades, very modern ones. And her name is Nicole, I think it's something like Engelbrecht, but she's got that lovely South African accent that you can just drift away to. So you might be, she could be talking, well, she does talk about some horrific crimes, but you kind of don't really let them sink in because she's so nice to listen to. Also like channels like JCS Criminal Psychology, that chapter. Oh, I've seen some of the stuff by that chapter. Hidden True Crime, Murder Academy, and similar channels. Yeah, well, if you like things like that, check out True Crime South Africa, because that's a good channel. And as I said, her voice is very soothing. She's really nice to listen to. So, right, well, if I start to wind this up, guys, because we're 3 minutes off 12:30 in the morning here in the lovely UK, which is feeling a bit cold. Probably because my flaming heating still isn't working. Now I will be, I can't say never. I was going to say I won't be online tomorrow. I might be because I'm actually going to stay at, I keep going to say Mr. Sexy now. I'm going to go and stay at you know whose house tomorrow night, but I'm probably going to be on my own for 4 or 5 hours because he's got stuff to do. So I may pop on live for an hour or so for a bit of a chit chat, but I'll not promise. Otherwise, I will see everybody, hopefully, on Friday, 9 p.m. UK time. But I will set a reminder and I'll schedule a live. And hopefully see all of you there. So, so yeah, I'll wish you all a good night. I will sign off in my usual way in a second. Yes, Sid. Oh, it's lovely to have you in. And Simples and Kai Beale and who else is still here? And Lady Witch, Sheila, Sharon, Jules, Porky, Bedtime Clown. Have I forgotten anybody? Oh, Meadow was in earlier as well. So yeah, thank you all so much for being in and turning up, even though it was very impromptu. I really appreciate it as always. So once again, I'll blow your kisses and see you on the bright side. Night all.